Good evening. I would like to call to order the Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee meeting 1707, and also let the public know that this meeting is being recorded. And for the record, is anyone else recording at this meeting? We just learned we needed to say that stuff. So we got that. We'll get it. All right, hearing none, we'll continue. I'd like to welcome Matthew Myers, our new business administrator. He's meeting us. It's his first meeting here tonight.
Welcome, Matthew.
So we'll have some financial stuff to get caught up a bit. Also welcome Bob Kilmer, who is on an interim basis, filling the vacancy put forth when Bonnie Silver retired. And Bob's also on the select board. So for the record, he is very temporary because Sheffield, I think, is the only town that I know of so far that will have a race for school committee, and it was just determined collaboratively with Sheffield delegation and the school committee that we didn't want to put our finger on that election, and so Bob graciously stepped forward and will join us for as many budget business meetings and our work that we go forward until November. So thank you, Bob. Thank you, Matthew, for being with us tonight. First, we have standing reports, which is review and approval of school committee minutes, of which there are many sets. So, hi, Kim. We have minutes, I guess we'll go one by one, of February 9th. So we are catching up drastically on minutes tonight.
So I just want to say, if this helps at all with going through all of these minutes, I actually had a lot of little typos, little tiny ones,
Yep.
that I discussed with Michelle, and we thought it would be best to just meet and go through all of them.
Okay, so nothing content-wise?
Nothing content-wise,
Okay.
and I only say that in case anyone else had typos.
A bunch of typos, just in general.
Maybe we don't have to go through those,
Okay.
and save some time, and then maybe just talk about content issues.
Okay, that sounds
Fair enough.
reasonable.
Yeah.
As long as everybody agrees, yeah? Okay, so then let's go February 9th. If someone would like to make a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve February 9th meeting minutes.
She seconded.
Oh, Amy seconded, okay. Is there any discussion outside of typos, as Amy disclosed? No, hearing none? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Nancy? Yes. Bob, you weren't here?
Abstain.
Okay.
Yes.
Miguel? And Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Abstain.
Okay. Art?
Yes.
Yes. And Julie, yes. So minutes of February 9th are approved. All right. The next set we have before us is February 26th. Same thing outside of typos. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of
February 26th?
February 26th.
Yeah. All right, I think Nancy seconded,
Mhm.
okay. Is there any discussion on February 26th? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote, then Nancy? Bob?
Abstain.
Okay. Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Abstain.
Art?
Yes.
And Julie, yes. Okay, so the minutes of February 26th then are approved. And the next one, March 5th.
I move to approve the school committee meetings of March 5th.
Somebody want to second that?
I second that.
Okay, made by Amy, seconded by Miguel. Outside of typos, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote on Nancy? Yes. Bob?
Abstain.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim,
Abstain.
Art,
I'm abstaining too.
okay, and Julie, yes. So, the majority is approving those. I'm just looking, wait, how many people? Yeah, we have enough people.
1, 2,
Five.
3,
Yeah.
4, 2,
Three
1, 2,
abstains.
There's 8 of us here, right? Yeah, 1, 2,
Nancy.
7,
four,
8. Is
five.
Nancy up there?
Yes, Nancy's up there.
Yeah, so
Five.
those minutes are also approved then.
Because we have 5.
Yeah, okay. Next minutes are March 9th. This was a special school committee meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the special school committee meeting on March 9th.
I second that motion.
Okay, and Miguel. And I noticed these minutes were just opening for executive session. So they're not the minutes of the executive session, they're just minutes that we called this to order, for the record. Any discussion? Okay. Roll call vote, Nancy? Yes. Bob?
Abstain.
Yep.
Yes.
Miguel is yes.
Yes.
Amy? Carl?
Yes.
Abstain.
Art?
Still abstain.
And Julie is a yes. So those minutes also are approved. And then we have minutes of March 12th.
I move to approve the minutes of the school committee meeting on March 12th.
I second that motion.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Amy, seconded by Miguel. Any discussion on any of the content of these minutes? Hearing none, roll call vote. Nancy? Yes. Okay, Bob?
Abstain.
All right. Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Abstain.
Kim is abstaining. Art?
Yes.
Is yes. Okay, and those minutes have passed. Let's see. Next are the minutes of March 17th.
I move to approve the minutes of the school committee meeting on March 17th.
Okay, seconded by Nancy, made by Amy. Any discussion? All right, roll call vote. Nancy? Yes. Bob?
Abstain.
Yep. Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Abstain.
Art?
Yes.
All right, and these minutes have passed. All right. And that's the end. So thank you, Michelle, for working so hard for so many minutes, and I know that there are many more to come. Kim?
Do we have a timeline that since we're well without over our 30 days that they're supposed to be posted?
We are well outside of our 30 days, and I anticipate we'll have a whole bunch more at our August 20th meeting.
Will that include finance and the special committees?
We will, well, we'll do as many as we can. I mean, we're human beings, we will do the best that we can do. Yeah, I will comment, one of the things that we did just learn in our, and Michelle, you actually weren't in the room when Liz was talking about it, that it's actually up to this body to produce minutes, not just our staff. So we may, we'll try to go back and see what we can do, the recordings are there. But we'll do our best to get things, we're doing our best to get things caught up to the best of our ability. Yeah, so thanks for asking. Okay, so let's go back to the agenda. Receipt of correspondence. I don't believe we have correspondence tonight, so we will pass over that. Public comment. Hearing no, I don't see any public comment, and that's in person, so we have no public comment. And then we have our business manager report. So those are next in our packet, and as you'll see, there's warrants that go back a couple of months. And thank you, Matthew, for helping us get caught up. Is there something you'd like to present or say about this?
Just very briefly, they're broken, of course, into 4 different categories. Vendor P-card warrants, payroll warrants, account payable warrants, and then a tax warrant, they're very small, and those are all reconciled with the totals below. Should be fairly straightforward in terms of the presentation. And the voucher numbers are there with the exception of the way that payroll accounting is done with, hence we have a non-applicable payroll accounting today.
Okay.
Is there any way to see this online? Otherwise, I can't vote, I can't.
Did you get the packet? Nancy, do you have the packet?
If someone could send it to me, that would be great.
Yes, I can.
Oh, I thought it did go out. I don't know,
It did.
It's okay.
but it's all right. Yes, we can do that. Yeah. Kim?
Thank you.
What about the warrants from February to the end of April? I don't see any for there.
This just included,
Those were all approved, so February,
When were they approved? What meeting?
I think that were noted in the minutes that I read through. When I read through the minutes, I had it in my head that we had approved up till, I think, April. So we could go back.
I think we need to look at that, because I don't remember approving any warrants. Do you, Art?
I'm not, we can go back and look, but
I know we
even,
had a discussion about we needed to get it done and that you were signing warrants, because I watched that meeting today. But I watched all the meetings and I don't remember us voting on any of the warrants.
well, I know there's reference to approving warrants in some of these minutes,
Okay.
but I don't recall offhand without going back and actually fishing and looking to figure that out. But we can go back.
Yeah, I would
and
like
try
that.
to figure out if there were any warrants even previous to this that we haven't approved.
Yeah, I would like to know when those were approved.
Okay, so are there particular,
Well,
I mean,
we haven't seen any warrants in packets. We haven't, so,
I think we have seen one or two. All right, so we'll just go
We'll just find
through.
out.
We'll just have to research and make sure that they have been approved. So we will check for that. But in terms of what's being presented here, I'm seeing the dates are all May and June. Maybe.
There's one
there's
April.
one
There is-
April and
oh,
then
yeah.
4/30.
Oh, yeah, there's an April one too.
It's
Okay,
generally
okay.
April through the end of June.
I don't know if this point of order on this or whatever, but there's no signatures from anybody but you.
Well, that's when they were scanned, so I think they've still been in process. I will tell you, when I signed, we had a stack.
Well, I just don't know if it's legal to vote through something that doesn't have all the signatures on it. That's why I'm asking again about procedure. Because it doesn't have the superintendents, it doesn't have the business managers, it only has yours. So
Yeah.
legally, can we actually vote them through if not all three signatures on there?
Well, I think we'd be approving, and then, I don't know if it does make a difference
That's why
on
I'd like to
the order
know.
of signatures. Because a lot of times, we don't see them with all the signatures. This is like one of the first times to see all these cover sheets. A lot of times, we've had warrant reports that didn't have these cover sheets at all. Carl?
Did you just, I think I heard you say, but I could be wrong about this. Did you, when you signed these, were there any other signatures on them? Are we getting a copy that doesn't have the other signatures?
They weren't all on. I think Amy had signed a couple of them. It's just when they're in the basket and when people went in. And I think Michelle just scanned them to prepare them for the meeting, so they could still be looking for signatures. You're right about that.
Then I have a suggestion.
Yes.
I suggest that we approve them provisionally pending submission of a cover sheet that contains the required signatures.
I need
Okay.
signatures.
Okay, so you would like to see the cover sheet with all the signatures? Is that what
Well,
you mean?
I-
Or it's approval pending signatures?
No, I think approve them provisionally, meaning we say that we approve them, but added to the record should be a cover sheet that has the required signatures. Because Kim's question is a reasonable question.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And someone looking through the records may say, it's unlikely, but who knows? They may say, well, where are the required signatures? So if we approve them provisionally, then the full cover sheet, a photocopy of the full cover sheet can be presented. On the other hand, if the committee doesn't want to do that, we could hold off approval until our next meeting. Can I ask you a question of Matt?
Yeah, sure.
If we don't approve these now, what if anything is the practical effect?
The bills have been paid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So there's
essentially,
no-
so it's sort of a
This is a
post-haste,
for-
Okay.
it's a formality.
So there's no practical
no
effect
fiscal
of not approving,
consequence.
right?
Yeah,
They've all been paid,
correct.
okay.
Yeah,
We wouldn't
and their
present
last
something that
fiscal
is,
year,
hasn't been signed at all.
right,
Okay.
yeah, nothing for this fiscal year has gone forward. So we're trying to clean everything up, basically,
Okay.
Kim?
I think my major thing about the missing signature would be the business officer's one, who is responsible for the report and putting the figures on paper, saying they're correct in order to submit to school committee. So basically, all we have is you signing something and nobody has gone through the figures with that. That's the one I want to see, is the business manager's one
So-
saying, I take responsibility for
okay.
this
That
report.
Sure, okay, all right.
actually predates me a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
We understand that.
Yeah, we
Yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so moving forward, we're,
We don't wanna burn
we're
your
cleaning
seat.
up because.
Yeah, it's not against you, it's just, I'm getting a report, there's numbers on it, nobody says it's right or wrong.
Oh, yeah, but we didn't have a business manager at that time, so.
Right, but
Well, we had open architects.
Yes.
But I
Yeah.
mean, this is the report that we're kind of cleaning up.
he can go through it himself and say, these are all accurate, and this is what we paid, because it's all computerized, correct?
Yes, okay, so Kim, Bob?
These vouchers couldn't be approved by a single vote or a single signature anyway.
Right.
They would have had to have had, we just are not privy to the copy that has the additional signatures.
We just don't,
Have they been
We don't-
signed?
have they
They
been
would have
signed?
had to been signed to be approved,
You mean to be paid?
correct?
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
One
No, there's been a lot of
I mean,
things happening.
technically, yes, one would think that would be the order, but I'm not sure we've always had that order.
I'd like to
Interesting.
table this till next meeting.
I second that motion.
Okay, well, when you made the provisional, were you making a motion or were you making a suggestion?
I don't think I was actually making
Okay.
a motion, but mainly because I didn't think of it, but I'll yield to,
Okay, I
to
just,
Arthur's motion. I think no harm in doing.
Right.
No harm in putting it off for 3
okay,
weeks.
so if things have been
Yeah,
paid,
why
we'll
not?
just make sure in the future cover sheets come forward. That's what we would like to see, cover sheets that have been fully signed before they come here.
Right.
We actually are supposed to be getting these every 2 to 4 weeks, which is something that, now that we have an in-house business manager, we should be able to do.
Yeah, hopefully we will. I mean, we don't meet again now till,
Right.
August 20th,
I mean,
so.
in
but
the fall
in
and
in
as
this-
we're going
Yeah, we
forward.
should
Definitely,
see
we'll
them more,
definitely get
yeah.
that for
we
you
should
guys.
certainly see them
Absolutely.
more regularly.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So a motion's been made and seconded that we table the warrant approval until we have fully signed cover sheets. Is there any other discussion? Roll call vote, Nancy,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
yes, and Julie, yes. So Matthew will just, that's one formality, we'll be sure that we
Absolutely.
take care of in the next time. Okay, excellent. I don't think we have any grants or gifts that we're accepting, right?
That's correct.
Okay, now, in the packet, I think, did I see some transfer information?
Yes.
That's next. Now, let me get past all these warrant pages. Alright. Sorry. Okay, so you want to tell us, Matt, about the
Sure.
budget? It's number 4C here.
Correct, so the budget transfers are as follows. Student services, we transferred $10,118.85. And you can see where the money is coming from and where it's going to. So it says from on the budget transfer page 2. And this is for increases the homeless transport this year due to 2 students in the DECF program in Pittsfield.
Okay, do we want to vote on each one separately, or do we want
Why
to?
doesn't he just surmise?
Yeah, you want to tell us about the other ones, and then we'll
Yeah,
vote on
absolutely.
all of these, yeah.
So this next one is for buildings and grounds, is $3,870.28. And again, the from, I won't repeat the whole account number.
Right.
And to, so moving it from supplies, building maintenance to energy. And this is, the account has a deficit and this will provide partial coverage. So it's covering an overage for fees for generated electricity and electricity for general lights. So it's a basic utility thing.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Art?
Does that, are we whole now?
No,
With this?
in that particular account, we're still reconciling a number of the items from fiscal year '26. So
Okay.
this is, again, that's why it says it's a partial coverage.
Okay.
It does not fully cover that particular account. From a practical fiscal accounting perspective, at the end of the year, it's right before the period of time when the accounts get rolled over, which is not happening yet.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kim?
Are we still seeing credits and discounts from the solar on the roof?
As far as I'm aware, those are still coming in. We'd have to check.
And if you could track those for us so that we can see if we're on target for what they promised, that would be awesome.
So, okay. I'll make
Okay.
a note of that.
Okay.
Solar credits.
Any other questions about the budget transfers? Mostly these are
think he has
within
one
the
now.
same, the cost center, right? These are within all the same, right? The first number is the cost number?
Yeah, so that's
I look at
within the
the-
general fund,
Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next one, of course, is also buildings and grounds. And this is for the amount of $62,793. So we spoke with our treasurer and confirmed that it would be an acceptable fiscal and budgetary matter to move this from salaries, certified teachers, NMC, that's just one of these Infinite Visions, Tyler Technology kind of account title acronyms, that it has funds available, and that's why it says it is allowable transfer for the Southern Berkshire Regional School District's treasurer. And it is to cover an overage in buildings and grounds account for the Building 1 custodial services account. Accounts payable has removed a redundant pre-encumbrance for $22,496 for purchase order 202-61842, reducing the overage to $62,793. And that fully covers overages. The Building 1 contract, which also predated me, but it had, amongst other things, the contract did not account for the summer hours.
So that's why the contractual services,
At least in part why this
Yeah.
overage is occurring.
and that would have been from last summer, right? July 1st, we're not talking
Correct.
now.
So we have one final invoice for 29K. And this budget transfer, if approved by the school committee, will cover that particular overage and allow us to reconcile that account
Okay.
through the close of 6/30/26. It will not be applied to the fiscal year '27.
Right.
We're simply trying to reconcile fiscal year '26.
Okay. Kim,
Yes,
question?
ma'am.
So New Marlboro Central was a daytime custodial person that was covered by salary, I believe. What happened to that figure? Because now we're paying it out of contract services. Because we had day staff, we had a couple day staff that were paid salary versus custodial services, which is our contract, I believe, from the company that we have that is does all our night cleaning, they're around the building after 3. But we still have 3 or 4 salaried people. So I know that Bob retired, I know we replaced him with a gentleman,
Yeah.
but he wasn't part of our contracted services, he was a salaried person. So where did that figure go that he was being paid?
I would have to look at the line budget and remember and just, is there a separate custodial
In
line?
our salary things,
Separate
there
from
is.
contractual services. I mean, because this is, like you say, this is the evening, right? This is
No, New Marlboro Central doesn't have evening. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to know. Marlboro Central has daytime
a
custodial,
daytime
one
person.
person, and that's it. And then it's usually a single person paid by salary unless they've been put someplace else. There should be a salary component to offset the contracted services, which has always been the nighttime people running around the main campus or going over
We
to.
do have our custodian over at New Marlboro is paid. All of our custodians who work in-house are paid out of the salary line in facilities.
So how come we are transferring for New Marlboro Central?
No, we're not. It's
Oh, okay.
from New Marlboro.
Okay, that's what I was at. It's like,
See, New
okay,
Marlboro
that's
2,
where.
New Marlboro Central 2.
2,
Yes.
okay. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
my
yeah.
mistake.
Oh, okay.
Allowable
Very good.
transfer.
Yeah, no, I wasn't doing the transfer. I just wanted to know
Oh,
where
you
the
thought it
salary,
was
I
paying
thought
the
it was
New
the other,
Marlboro one.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was my question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my
Okay,
mistake.
so we're clear on that.
Yeah.
We're,
So
okay.
building one is a third-party contractor.
Yes.
And this is covering their overage due in part to the summer hours not being accounted for in the original contract.
Okay, very good. Now we're clear on that. All right, so we don't
Third-party
have to worry
contract,
about
so
that.
we mean, we are now using our custodial people to do building 1, which is New Marlboro Central, right? Or is this building 1? Which one's building 1? I guess that's my
Building
question.
one is-
Building one is only for after-hours work at the main campus.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know was, what is building 1?
That's the name of our
Building one is only
contractor.
our after-hours work
Okay.
area.
Yes, okay.
All right. Okay.
So
And-
if approved, we will quickly reconcile this and pay the outstanding
Great.
requisition invoice for building 1.
Okay.
And cover Ed Bramer is in charge. of that.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions about the budget transfer? No? Okay. I don't think we made a motion to approve.
We did,
We didn't?
no, but I'll make that motion.
Okay, so
Second.
Carl's making a motion. Art, did you say second?
Yeah.
Okay, motion by Carl, seconded by Art to approve the budget transfers as presented. Any other questions? Roll call vote, Nancy? Yes? Bob?
Aye.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Yes.
Art? Yes, and Julie, yes. So you approved unanimously. All right, thank you, Matthew, for
Thank you.
for that. So the treasurer's report, or the chairman's report, briefly, happy to say, at the last meeting, we looked at our treasurer's contract, and one of the questions was about how many hours for that 17,000 and change, and we clarified that to be about 150 hours annually for that. And we put all the other pieces into that we wanted, so that contract is signed. The Unit D contract is finally finished, we're glad to say. We need one more signature from our union president, but the discrepancies that we had have been rectified, so we expect to have that done momentarily as well. And the other thing I just wanted to mention was our school committee training from last week, where we had Liz LaFond was with us, Glenn Kuchar from MASC, talking about governance and school committee self-evaluations and that sort of thing. And in our packets from last week, there was a school committee self-evaluation tool. And a few of us that were there had talked about, would we want to present it and talk about it at the whole school committee? Would we like to use that tool? They have a paper evaluation. It's the same questions. a paper evaluation, we could do it on a Survey Monkey. Would it be helpful? There were 6 or 7 different areas between governance, budget, and finance, and goals. And, how would we rate ourselves in terms of how we're operating and functioning? So I just wanted to ask this group if there's interest in moving forward with that self-evaluation. And if there is, I'll work on that and we'll bring it back at the next meeting. But I'm interested in feedback to see where we want to go with that. So I don't know if folks who were there have any thoughts.
I have a question from earlier.
Yeah.
Was it the Unit A contract that they're signing or the Unit D contract?
Unit A is done.
Is it signed?
Yes, Unit A is done and signed. Unit D, there was something with longevity that we were working out, there were questions. And Unit D, we thought had been signed
Yeah, I thought
many months ago. No, you should have been the one signing it, honestly, not me. But yes, so I think yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, no. There's
Okay.
been a
He
lot
couldn't
of
have signed
delays. No, there've been significant delays.
No, I mean, he literally couldn't have signed that one.
I couldn't sign it.
I would have had to sign it.
Oh, that's right, you would, that's right, yeah, that's right, I forgot.
So there
With
is
the
no
conflict of
collective
interest.
bargaining going on over the summer?
No, all the bargaining is done with all of that. All we need is one more signature and we'll be done. But it's taken way too long to get it
Okay.
cleaned up. But yeah, thanks for the clarification. Self-evaluation, thoughts by folks who were there. Shall we pursue this tool? Shall we just look at it next year? Shall we, I don't know. What's the pleasure of the group, Amy?
I think we absolutely should take a look at it.
Okay. All right, Miguel, I see you kind of.
I agree. I think it's worthwhile to pursue, certainly. I mean, I'm just thinking we have a batch of new people coming in as well, but I think, no time like the present to start.
Well, I mean, I talked to Liz afterwards and she, we could do it like, now kind of where we are now. We could do it at the end of next year. Have we made progress? And she or somebody, I can't remember, too many conversations, said we could even touch base in January, just take a review. Here's, what do you think? Are we improving? There's some areas we do pretty well. There's other areas we weren't doing so well. What can we do with that? Art?
I think we should wait till January or February. Then we have a whole new school committee. We do it then, and then we do it in May or June before the summer.
Okay. All right, so that's another thought. I see Nancy's hand.
I think I did go through it, and I think it would be really interesting to do it now before the new members come in, only because I think that we need to do, I think it'd be interesting to see where everybody agrees and where we have different opinions, and start to find out why the opinions are different, so that there's something, there's a roadmap to follow when the new people come in. Because I think one of the things that we hear a lot with new people is that, that they need more information on a whole lot of things. And as we all know, not everybody reads as well as other people do. So a lot of this stuff that can be discussed.
Right.
So that's just me. I think it's a really good exercise, and it doesn't take very long to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that there are places where we're doing really well. I think we're all doing where we're doing really well, and there are places where we haven't. And everybody may have an opinion that might be useful.
Yeah.
In different ways to look at how to rectify some of the problems.
Yeah. One thing that was interesting, if we do this Survey Monkey version of this that's through MASC, they would just not give us the individual responses. They could give us an aggregate. So it wouldn't, kind of jeopardize any individual opinions or things like that. We can look at it that way and then just see if the score changes and that sort of thing. Amy?
I agree with Nancy. I think that doing it now is a better option for a couple of different reasons. One is that a school committee in a school, in a classroom, typically one would take baseline data at the beginning of the year, do a check-in in the mid-year, and then see how the end of the year ends up. And I think that we received an incredible amount of feedback over the last year about our performance. So to push it off, I don't think is really making a diligent choice in terms of responding to what we've been told over and over again. So it doesn't take long at all.
Right.
So
Right.
people could do it on their own time really quickly.
Yeah, I don't think it would take more than 10 minutes, really, especially on that
Easily.
SurveyMonkey.
But
thing.
aren't we at the end of the year, not at the beginning of the year?
No, it feels to me like we're at the beginning of the school year. I mean, if we did it now, or we could do it in August or September, you know what I mean? Like, to measure, because most of our meetings are September to June, right? So that's why I wanted to bring it up. We don't necessarily have to vote on this tonight, but I wanted to get the pulse to feel, and I can just find out more from Liz, you know, if it sounds like there's people that are interested. It would be, to me, it would be interesting to see, here's the baseline of kind of where we've been. And then you're right, Art said we'll have new people in November. So to compare our current baseline with what new people would think after being there November, December, January, say we do it around February 1st, right? They would have been with us 3 months. Well, do they view it differently? Like, I think it would be interesting to see, get the feedback now, and then with the new people at the beginning, have we mentored them well? Have we onboarded them? Like that, we don't have good processes for any of that, really. So, and then to see it again after they've been with us with the whole committee, I mean, it could provide some interesting insight. That's my thought. But it does sound like, you know, I understand the concerns of waiting, but I do hear several people saying, yeah, I think it's good to go. So what I may do is, you know, this was under chairman's report, it's not under something we're voting. So maybe we'll do that, we'll bring it back, and I'll talk and get more details from MASC about how we might do that.
Is filling
Nancy?
it out, is that optional, is filling it in optional?
Is filling it in optional? Well, I mean, you know, if we know we're an 8 or a 9 person board and we only get 7 responses, well, that will be part of the data, that we have a couple of people that didn't respond. You know, that would be, I would think, they would tell us that. But but let me look in, I'll just look into it more and go from there.
Well,
Carl?
yeah, just a quick response to Nancy's question.
Yeah.
Of course it's optional.
Well, yeah, I would imagine, you know, I mean, any
What, is somebody gonna
evaluation we do.
Lock the door and not let us out of the room until we've done it? Of course it's optional.
No, Carl, you're right, we absolutely wouldn't, but.
I think it should be optional, I mean, especially since our question development should be done. I personally think it should be optional.
Yeah, no, I just think it would be interesting for folks, you know, whether it's 2 or 3 or whatever, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, it does. All right, well, thank you for your input on that, and that's the end of Chairman's report. The superintendent's report. I know Dr. Rickett wasn't with us today, but he's there this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry that I couldn't be with you in person. The terrible weather on my trip home made it impossible for me to get there. I do have an update and a couple unfortunately sad ones to share. Martha Barnum, who was hired September 1st of 1987 and retired from our buildings and grounds in December of 22, unfortunately passed away since our last meeting. You may recall her husband Paul passed away last fall. So our thoughts are with her family. And in addition, Joan Powers, who was hired September 1st of 1992 and retired as our elementary school librarian in June of 2011, also passed away. So sorry to be starting with sad news, but I thought it was important for the school committee and our community to know. We had a meeting.
And I might just add, Brian, I might just add, at this point, we don't have any information about services.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
We
we
will
don't
share
know
it
that.
widely once we do. That is correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie. It's good-
Sorry for
good
the
point.
interruption.
Martha, who I didn't catch, who was the second person?
Joan Powers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a surprise.
that's a big one. Joan Powers. Brian, go ahead.
Sorry. We had a mini leadership retreat in July. Because of the uncertainty of our budget near the end of the season, we didn't want to book any serious time for our folks on the off chance that we would be rebuilding the budget. But we focused those 2 days in July on our strategic plan for continuous improvement, which I know Julie and I discussed today. We will be discussing again on August 20th in terms of next steps, aligning school committee goals and superintendent's goals to that. And we also focused on building relationships with all of our folks, from the teachers to the students in the classroom, from the principals to their staff from the district office to everybody else in the district. Those were the two highlights there. And of course, as you heard, we've been working to prepare and support Matthew Meyer as he transitions into his role as our school business administrator. I had texted him immediately after he finished his report to share how grateful I am for his attention to detail, for his willingness to hit the ground running. And truly, anytime we say, hey, this might be a road bump, his response to me is, we will get through it and we'll find a way. So it's great to have him a part of the team. I'd like to thank the entire team for welcoming him, especially our folks like Michelle and Terry and Victoria, our auditors, the Scanlon Group, and Tammy and Micah, everybody who's trying to support Matthew so that he will be successful as he begins his journey with us in Southern Berkshire.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rica.
Okay, and thank you. That is the end of superintendent's report.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you very much. And I do not see Sarah or, oh, is
Sarah's
Sarah
up
up there?
there.
Oh, Sarah, there you are, Sarah. Hello, Sarah, you have a report for curriculum and instruction and PD, Sarah.
Yes, hi everybody. I hope you're all enjoying the summer. I'm taking advantage of that and zooming in tonight. So we are currently planning for next school year. We are working on our opening day plans. I am still looking for a couple of panelists. If anybody is a graduate or knows a graduate who would like to come and talk about their experience and how our faculty, our staff, our school community impacted them positively, I thought that would be a nice way to kind of kick off our school year as we focus on student success. We met with the leadership team and agreed that our focus this year for our strategy for continuous improvement is going to be around student success. On August 17th, we will be having our curriculum and some of our other teacher leader positions come in for a leadership institute where we will be continuing that work around student success to build the foundations for our goals for our different departments and what they're going to do to achieve student success, improve student outcomes, and how we're going to measure those. So really setting us up for a really positive school year. Next Friday, August 7th, our advisory curriculum design team is going to meet to start that work. Transcend will be supporting us with some resources in that as well. And then we will have our agency cohort and our Burt Studio cohort here for some summer work on August 20th and 21st. So we're excited about bringing all of these pieces together.
All right. Any questions of Sarah? All right. Thank you. Thanks so much,
Thank you.
Sarah. All right. Student services report. I know Jonathan's not here. Is he online?
He's on vacation this week, so he won't be joining us.
Okay, so no report there. All right.
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So on to new business. And the first item A, vote to approve 5 pre-K students for out-of-district placement. And there is
How are they?
information in the packet. So I don't know, Dr. Ricca first, do you have anything to say about this? And then we'll do questions.
I'm just going to say this before he says this.
No, wait a minute. Let
Okay.
him present.
Sorry.
I know Kate is on the call as well, and
Okay.
she wrote the memo.
Okay,
Kate, can you speak to this?
okay. Hello, Kate. Nice to see you. Yes, what do you think? Tell us about this.
Hi, everybody. So, when I came, the number 12
was given to me as the number of students that are typically in pre-Ks. And I had experienced in other districts that this was slightly different. So I just did a dive into the EEC and also DESC's recommendations in terms of class size, and took into consideration what the teachers' concerns were with having larger classes, pre-Ks especially. So in general, both the EEC and DESC both recommend up to 20 kiddos in a classroom with a 1 to 10 ratio of adults. That felt really big for all of us, especially since a lot of our classes and the other levels are not quite that high, and pre-K being so important. But still keeping it wide open for making sure that kiddos who want pre-K and families that want their kiddos to have pre-K have access. We decided to move up to 15. The information that up to 15, there was little to no effect for social or educational, like deficits. So we just didn't want to go to that high.
Okay, Kim, your question?
It says out of district placement. It's incoming to our district placement. That's what was my whole thing. This is all phrased wrong. That's why I was saying
we have about out of district. No, but Kate, you mean these would be for students that are not within Southern Berkshire to be able to come in?
Correct.
Right, what you see in front of you,
that was my point.
To make sure people understood that is even we have enough internal spaces for our kiddos who are coming. But we also have room for the handful of kiddos that you see on the list.
Okay, very good. I just want to clarify the title on that where it says elementary out of district. It sounds like we're sending them out, but your intention was that we'd be allowing out of district people in, and that's what the confusion here was.
You don't want to call it school choice because that's not what it is.
Right,
How about opting in?
Within our child.
Yeah, so these are for elementary pre-K students opting in. That is our piece.
Opting in.
And so okay, and the main thrust is, will we allow up to 15 students in a class to accommodate some of these requests?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And it wasn't necessarily only for these out of district kiddos. We wanted to make sure that we met all of the in-district kiddos whose families had expressed interest.
Okay.
So I think we have 14, 14, and 13. In the past, they were keeping that 12, but also saving one slot for a child from the Pediatric Development Center who might need to be integrated a little later in the year because they turned 3.
Okay. Carl, question?
Yeah, I think that the point, which I thought was a very good point made by Kim, is at least Kate is not focusing on it, and I think there has to be, for the understanding of people who are not as well versed or as well versed as we are, which sometimes is not particularly well versed, but for people to understand this. Because when I saw it, I thought the same thing that Kim thought. I thought that we were placing our SBRSD students out of district. And there must be an easier, well, of course there is, a way to clarify the title, which reflects in fact what we're doing, which is we are taking in out of district students into our district.
We just have to change wording.
Yes, we will. We'll absolutely do that. So we'll get a motion to approve. What I was thinking is, if we approve the concept of what Kate is asking, we could amend our packet to clarify that title so that what's on the website for the record gives the right connotation of what we're trying to say. Kim?
I just want to, and correct me if I'm wrong, we do not get money for these children coming in, but we don't get money for our children either that are in pre-K. So we get grants. So it's kind of a wash no matter what to add these children to the program, because either way, it's a grant-funded thing that helps offset us. And accepting these kids into district may allow them to continue into the kindergarten, first, second, third, because usually once we get them, they tend to stay.
Yeah, no, I think that's a point well made, and it is in the text, but it hasn't been said verbally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was there. Would someone like to make a motion with regard to the concept of what Kate is proposing here?
So moved.
Okay, so I think Carl made the motion
Second.
and Nancy seconded that because she was starting to make the motion at the same time. So we've got Carl and Nancy making the motion to approve, and we will just adjust that title. You're okay with that, Kate? And Michelle can just, re-up that, yeah. Is there any other questions? No? Okay. Miguel?
At some point, do these placements become choice in, or if they were to stay, at what grade does that happen?
Kindergarten.
At first, yeah.
First grade.
Kindergarten, I thought.
Kindergarten.
So, yeah, it is.
So it could translate into
potentially
choice.
be worthwhile.
If they stay.
Right.
Right, exactly. Any other questions? Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Nancy, I like starting with you. Then I don't forget. Yes? Bob?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Yes.
Art? Julie? Yes. Okay, we are unanimously approving that placement. Thank you. Next, we wanted to talk again about attendance at the MASS conference. We have about $4,000 in that budget. When we looked at everything, it would cost, and I even tried to do a breakdown saying we wouldn't go the night before, we would come home Friday night, not stay Friday night, and it still would cost about $1,000 a person to go. We'd have to incorporate Michelle's one night when she comes down for her administrative assistant piece. So that's not a lot of money, but what I'd like to do is figure out who might actually be interested. Because I will say that MASC might be willing to work some kind of a deal with us. That was something that Glenn talked to me after the meeting, if we have more people who are interested. So if we can get an idea of who might be seriously interested, and I looked at that paper and I know, I think early bird, oh wait a minute, I got it right here. Early bird is, we have to send it in. We have a little time, is it September 5th? But I know Michelle tries to do that early. Register before September 1st. So we bring it up so it's fresh in our minds. So I think if we take the list and then we can go from there and see. I know Kim and Nancy have comments.
So Kim first.
There's
Okay,
only 4 people retaining their seats here.
There are only 4
That was
people.
my question.
But the one thing that we do know is, and it did say somewhere in this paperwork, that you can hold seats under a district name. So if we wanted to hold a slot for a new person and they're in there in November, it would be like going the next day. They'd need to be aware.
Am I correct that this year it is after the election? So
Yeah, barely. I mean,
And it's in Boston.
it's down in Danvers. It's on the
close.
North Shore
Yeah.
of Boston. It's November 4th through the 6th. So I know Michelle would love to make some reservations and start in that whole process, but at least if we know who's interested and we could figure that out, we can figure out how far our funds will go, talk to MASC, and then kind of, Michelle, would that work for you? We get this figured out and then
just
do it
by the meeting on August 20th.
by August 20th? So that's my thought, to figure out who actually would like to go. Kim, you telling me you want to go or you got a comment?
Well, kind of but the other thing is the person who reserves at the moment could also switch the name over afterwards. So like
Yes.
say, I want to go, but something came up,
Right.
or maybe somebody new gets on that, I'd rather C go,
Then the new person go.
then I can say, hey, I went last year.
Right,
But she can still make the reservations and get them in.
I can still make the reservations. What happens though sometimes, what's happened in the past, is that somebody will say they're staying all 3 nights and then they go home a day earlier and then I've already paid for the room for that extra night.
Right.
So it's not so much the conference pricing because MASC works with us. They'll refund us the money. Most of the time. But if somebody books the hotel and I block out the hotel,
You don't get that money back.
I get the money back.
No, it's more for the hotel reservations, and I did notice that they have an overflow, so I know we wanna book earlier than later, so that we don't have to be the traveling, but, we're in the same hotel as the conference.
Right.
So my thought is it starts Wednesday, people who wanna go, maybe we forego a Tuesday night room, we could agree as a group, we're not gonna go down Tuesday night. If that means we'd be paying for Wednesday night and Thursday night.
It's only Boston.
And it's Boston, and it's not like it's far.
And a lot of people only stay during the day Friday and then leave, they don't go to the life member banquet on Friday.
Yeah.
Don't forget, there's also costs for dinners that you do with them.
Right, yeah, no, and I was kind of that's what I was doing today, I was sort of tallying that up. And it did, even with some travel, it's like $1,000 a person, and that limits us to 2 nights and 3 paid meals. But then Thursday night, we would usually have dinner together, I did not count for that.
That's okay, that comes out of the.
So, I mean, we could, it's just a matter of how many we think we want to reserve. I think it's more the room reservations. Carl?
I may go, but it will cost the district nothing if I do.
Oh.
Well, one, I'm not going to ask for reimbursement. I am not going to have to pay for the registration because of an accommodation by MASC. 2, I'm not going to bill for mileage. I'll pay for my own meals, and I won't stay at the hotel. So I'm 0 cost to the district if I go.
If you go, and actually it's right after the election too, right? And have you decided you're not running for another term, right?
I'm not running for another term. That doesn't
You can still go to the conference.
Doesn't
No, no,
mean he
no.
won't get appointed because nobody ran and offered.
Have we? Is that the case?
Well, okay, this is
That
a
was a good
digression. This is a digression, I will say. There is, the person that you spoke to me about missed the deadline, but still wants to do a write-in campaign. So I know there will not be a name on the ballot for Alford, but I also
He
know that.
missed the deadline.
Yeah, he thought it was tonight.
Can
and
we?
Yeah, but we're digressing, so let's not go there. Anyway, can we make a decision about how many slots we might want to reserve?
I think that we could find the money to send a couple extra people besides the 4.
Why don't you raise your hand if you're
Yeah,
interested in
Yeah,
going?
that's a good idea. Who's actually interested in going? So, all right,
I'm a potential, I just don't know.
you just are not. You probably need to, it may flip
Yeah, I
on
don't even have
you.
my
Okay.
hair. Okay.
All right, so we know, okay, so we have for Miguel is a
Is a
question
potential,
mark.
Kimar and
And-
Julie.
Yeah,
And Carl.
well, and Carl is on the freebie, Miguel is a question mark. So, all right, it'll be more follow-up with MASC, and we'll see what we can do, and if we can adjust the rates, use some of the conference rate to pay for rooms, we'll see if we can get 5 or 6 to go. Is that agreeable?
I think 5 or 6 is a nice number.
Okay, we'll see what we can do with that. All right. That's what we will go for. The Student and Families Handbook, I know Michelle put it out in the last version of the packet tonight. So it's not in the printed packet that we have because we didn't get it. And it's very long and all of that. Yeah. So I think I'm wondering, maybe the superintendent, can you give us an update on the status of that handbook? But we can start to review what is in the packet. Is there something we need to know about that? And then we can plan to vote in August.
Yes, thank you. So I had, from my notes from one of my first meetings with you folks last year, that you wanted to have more input and feedback into parent and student handbook. So I reached out to Marion Peters, who works in Josh's office. She's the one that we turned to at Murphy, Lanier and Murphy for this review. She pointed out to me that according to Mass General Law, it is a school council that reviews the student handbook, not the school committee. The citation is Mass General Law, Chapter 71, Section 33H. Now, truth be told, we haven't been following this either. So this was news to me, that this is how this process is supposed to go. That said, if there is feedback, you'll have almost a month to look at the most updated draft. Michelle, did John Dewar and Tricia weigh in on the document you shared today?
Yes, so those updates
Excellent.
have been done, yeah.
Okay, so those were the last two folks that Marianne had written comments for. So what you have in the electronic version that Michelle shared with you is our best thinking as a district based on Ms. Peters' review and feedback from all the members, all the department members, principals, et cetera, et cetera. So Julie, you and I didn't even talk about this on the phone. What I would propose is if there are specific questions about the handbook, that you email them to me and I will work with Ms. Peters about that feedback. Because from my perspective, there's not a ton in this document that is going to be open to feedback / flexible. That said, I would be more than happy to compile a list of questions, get them to Ms. Peters, and share the feedback at the next meeting where indeed, as Julie said, we hope you will approve it.
Okay, Carl, question?
Well, to put it quite frankly, that's incorrect information from our law firm. And we discussed this, and I brought it up in Beth Regalbuto's last year. And the fact is that there is case law, there are opinions from DESE that school committee approval is appropriate, and we've only been doing it for at least 20 years, and because someone looks at a regulation and said, one part of it is correct, student council does review it, but it is approved by the school committee, and for the school committee to approve it and not have any input to it, it's the way that a lot of government works these days, but it's incorrect. And we had this resolved, and Beth Regalbuto, in fact, responded the meeting after the meeting where I brought it up and said, yes, that's correct. She had checked it out with DESE. So we do approve it. We have always approved it, and I may not be here as a member at the time that it's submitted for approval, but that still doesn't change the protocol. And the protocol.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Carl.
No, I'm finished.
No, all I was going to say is we do intend to have school committee approve it at the August meeting, and we have, if school committee, you have it a month in advance. If there's questions, if there's concerns, if there's things, we send it to Brian. And is it a section that that we can have any input to? Because there are many sections where we don't have input. We're very limited, and that was one of the concerns that we had. This is kind of a deja vu from last year when we were still approving this handbook in September.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get ahead of that.
Okay, can I respond just
Carl,
briefly
please.
to what you said? You're right. There are certain areas where we don't have any, the school committee does not have jurisdiction to approve, change, suggest a number of areas. Student discipline is one of them. It's the major one, I think. But there are areas where we do. And in fact, a dozen years ago, I fought a battle to eliminate the student dress code, which the Supreme Judicial Court had held, not ours, but in general, the Supreme Judicial Court had held the year or two before. It took 3 years to convince administration to remove the dress code. But the Supreme Judicial Court said that a student dress code was unconstitutional.
Okay.
And that's still the law in Massachusetts.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Kim?
Don't we have a handbook committee?
We do.
We haven't
and-
heard-
Yeah, no, I was
We
just-
haven't heard anything from them.
No, because we were working on, well, I mean.
So how
Nancy-
do we vote on
Nancy-
something when we haven't even had an update?
Well, wait, no. Well,
Or
we've
questions?
kind of been derailed for
Yeah.
We
about
have the
6
school year
months.
starting soon, right? So
Right, but we're supposed to
we want to
approve
get
it
it kind
prior.
of in good shape.
The reason that you haven't heard anything from the handbook committee is because we haven't met since all the kerfuffles started because they were priorities. I believe if my understanding is correct, what we were asked or approved to do was to come up with ways to make it simpler for everybody to read and to make sense of. And council said, yes, you can do that, but it doesn't change anything within the policy, that the policy handbook is created by is done by Buffer.
Right. And I will just add that the handbook.
Which took it out of priority, in triage, took it out of our priority.
When the handbook committee started, they were looking at the school committee handbook, and we thought, oh, all right, February, March, we'll look at student handbook. And most all of our subcommittees have been derailed for the last 6 months, and therefore there's been no progress. So we have not done anything more on that. But I mean, we could refer, we can say, okay, we've got this. The handbook committee could take a look at it and talk about it if you're so inclined, Nancy, to try to do that before August 20th.
Maybe a memo or something?
But I'm not sure, we certainly I can't imagine any significant changes within that period of time. I don't even know if it makes sense to have that subcommittee review it. I mean, it's all of our responsibility. Yeah? Okay, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It's all, we all have that copy. We can take a peek, know that we're gonna try to review and approve in August so that we can get it done before school starts. All right, unless there's anything else, anybody else wants to say on that? Okay. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the E&D proposal for education finance services. This, you'll recall, our treasurer gave us a proposal, and she and her partner, who's Christina Noonan, have started this new company, Education Finance Services. And we saw this at our last meeting, and we said, oh, let's hold back. There might be other services. Well, there will be other services, not necessarily under this. However, there has, it makes good sense. And Matthew, please do weigh in wherever you want. But in conversations with our treasurer, we know that there are a number of things that she can provide for us. She can't do actual journal entries because she is our treasurer. There is that divide, but she can help do research and help guide all of this process. So it seems like a very wise move to do this. And as a part of this, I guess I'm just thinking about agenda-wise. We did just learn about the need to have some cash reconciliations, and maybe Matthew, can you talk a little bit about that? That might be, in addition to E&D, some additional hours. There's two different things kind of coming.
That's correct. So the reconciliation, which is not being presented to you this evening, which potentially would be, the reconciliation is for the purpose of reconciling cash accounts and a number of overages and discrepancies that have occurred from fiscal year 2025 '26, and then bringing fiscal year '27 up to speed in a timely and corrected fashion, which would be the first time that you guys would be seeing numbers that would be fully realized and accurate.
And one of the things that's also interesting, Dr. Ricca and Matthew and I met with, I think it was Tom Scanlon from our auditor, Scanlon and Associates. And that whole audit will be presented at the Finance Committee meeting in September. And interestingly, one of the areas that we got dinged was our cash reconciliations. And so, well, I don't know for sure, but I mean, that was an area of concern. And so that came from the auditor, and now it's from our treasurer, who wants to help us research and get things in order for E&D, is also saying our monthly cash reconciliations, to make sure the treasurer's book and the general ledger, did I say that right, are matching on a monthly basis. That has not been happening for quite a while, even before all the architects.
It's possible it even dates back to 24.
Yeah, it may go back. And so it seems as if having the treasurer's eyes, who's been with us now, I think for 4 years, is a good idea on the E&D. And also she's estimating about 40 hours worth of work for this reconciliation work. So it's two different pots that we want to be considering. Kim, question?
Well, I know one of the reasons that we were having issues with the cash and stuff like that was because of Lynette's illness and not able to get the POs out, and people were submitting, and a lot of things were coming across the last couple of years. She was out all the time. No fault to her.
Well, I mean, that's
But the
personal,
other,
that
right.
we won't get into that.
We won't get into that, but it did affect that. But my question is what accounts are you talking about? Are you talking about activities? Are you talking about, what accounts are you talking about for the cash flow?
For the reconciliation or for the,
Reconciliation.
I mean, the E&D is a very, it's
Well,
a
I know
very
what
scheduled.
E&D.
No, but I mean,
I'm
there's
talking about the other thing that you were talking about.
the other piece.
The other piece.
Let's see, what did she write? She's talking about 1 month at a time, general ledger cash account to each treasurer bank account. So I think she wants to look at all of the accounts. And then correct some entries in Infinite Vision. She can help to determine which accounts need to be determined, and she would be working closely with Matthew. So I think that there are a number, but I think basically having her help us do E&D would help us get it certified sooner than later.
No, I know that.
Do you know what I mean? But having this extra reconciliation, it's my understanding, is like precursor work to be able to get the E&D done. Does that sound?
That's correct.
That's correct, yes.
So I agree with the E&D. Now, the reason I was asking about the other part is because knowing what is available in certain cash accounts and stuff like that could also help determine funding through the budget too. Because if somebody has a whole big pot over here, they may not need something from us over here because they have a whole big pot over here. And that's my concern.
Well, and I mean, the thing is, I don't think we can comment until we're reconciled. That's
Right.
the whole problem.
But that's what I was saying. I would like to have a full spreadsheet of all cash flow coming in from various accounts available to us. That would be great.
Yeah, no, I think having that level of detail, especially at finance committees, would be great. Nancy, I'm sorry, you comment?
That would allow this kind of get stuff, that would allow the budget process to move more smoothly, starting.
Correct.
No, I agree. Dr. Ricca, do you have any other comments on these two possible services?
I support them wholeheartedly. What I would offer to the committee is that the discussion that Julie, Matthew, and I had with Tom Scanlon is referring back to FY25, which closed in June of the previous calendar year. So we're just getting the audit from that year. That year's audit is, and we will be presenting it once it's finalized, that year's audit is showing some areas of improvement. Cammie is aware of that. She would be helping Matthew get up to speed so that during this FY26, the budget that just ended in June, knowing some of the needs improvement areas from FY25, she would be able to help Matthew correct them for FY26 so that those areas of improvement in 25, even though they weren't reported to us until recently, can still be adjusted in FY26 so that we can show improvement. And to Nancy's point, put everybody on an even keel as we start the FY28 budgeting process. So I do wholeheartedly agree with both, that we give Annie the opportunity to do both of those services. I would also add a slight correction. She did say in her email to Julie, myself, Matthew, up to 40 hours to complete this. So it may not go the whole 40 hours, but I do think this would be another way for the school committee to show Matthew how serious they are about helping set him up for success, ironing out all of the kinks that have been identified, and allowing us to move forward upon an even playing surface.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So basically what I'm looking for, I would be looking for, I think we do it separate motions, a motion to approve the E&D proposal, and then a motion to approve additional hours for reconciliation preparation for the E&D up to 40 hours. And that would also be times $125 an hour, which is up to $5,000. So we're looking at $10,000 of additional accounting work that can help us get in a better place to do that. Amy?
All right, so I'm just looking
It's
at
10
the
grand for
contract
both.
part.
Yeah.
Not so much.
So, just for clarification, the 5,500, the fee.
Oh, yes. Yep, it was I thought it was 5,000. It's 5,500, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's.
For E&D, yeah.
No, that's okay, I'm not nitpicking.
Yeah.
This is for the scope of work for just the E&D.
Yes. Yeah, we don't have a proposal actually like this. For the additional hours, we just had emails that transpired literally yesterday and first thing this morning. So there's no proposal in place, but I would like to try to get a pre-approval and then we'll put it in writing to do that.
Okay.
Kim?
I wasn't even
I'm
done.
sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have like.
Okay, two different things.
No,
sorry.
I'm just trying to understand, so I have a couple of questions. So this 5,500 is for the E&D.
Yes.
This is the E&D work what she said would take up to 40 hours?
No.
No, the 40 hours is the
It's
reconciliation.
the additional
And that would be
reconciliation
the
work.
billable at
Yeah,
120, okay.
And it would be up to 40 hours, so it would be 5,000 or less.
Okay, and then you just said that this isn't exactly the contract that would be signed.
No, I think we would sign this one for E&D.
Okay, so then my next question is, does Josh have to take a look at this beforehand? Does
It's
someone
very,
need
I
to-
don't think, personally, I don't think so, because it's very similar to what we approved. He looked at the other
Okay.
one. Yeah.
And so would we clarify on this one, or if there's a one that's similar that says up to 40 hours? Because it doesn't have any, it doesn't say 40 hours anywhere, it just says additional hours. So, I mean, like,
No,
someone
th-
could
no,
come back with
no,
100 extra
And
hours.
I feel like I'm causing confusion by how I presented this.
No.
Yeah, they're two separate things. I think that additional hours line is standard in any of their work. So the E&D is for this much.
Yep.
And then if there's anything else outside of scope of E&D, that's where the additional hours. And that was the same language in her treasurer's contract as well.
So my only concern then is, we're discussing the possibility of 40 hours or up to 40 hours. How will we know that the next time we check in or are signing checks that it somehow didn't go to 80 hours? Because that's a big difference in money that we are, I guess, voting on right now.
Oh, yeah, well, I would think between the superintendent and our business manager, they're gonna know how many hours they're working with us.
So are we putting a limit is what I get, that maybe I'm saying.
Yeah, we would keep a record of what she's
And we
doing.
would communicate that to Cammy, that the school committee approved up to 40 hours.
Okay.
We would communicate that to her ahead of time, and we would track it on our end as well.
And then finally, as we saw previously, is there going to be a way that we can not just track hours? I didn't just work July 23rd from 7 to 8, but also what will the timesheet look like? Because we ran into this last year where we didn't have any details on what we were paying for.
We can do the same thing, and I'm certain that Cammie would be sensitive to what took place last year, and we would be more than happy to have her detail a timesheet with the work that she turns in.
Yeah, not anything crazy, but just what a typical
Yeah.
contractor might do.
Right, okay. Kim?
So we are not voting on the second part, just the first E&D part, correct?
I'd like us to vote on both.
Without a contract or, I mean, we don't see anything. You say, I got emails, but that doesn't give us a contract and guidelines and parameters that say, I'm reconciling this, this, and this. This is how many hours I plan to spend, stuff like that. I don't feel comfortable personally vote, and I like Cammie, don't get me wrong, I'm glad she's doing the other two. But there's no specification that we can sign off on or we can have for that second part. It's not that we don't want to do it or I don't want to do it. I want something legally in writing that's a binding contract that we pay and says it states $5,000. Then we sign off on it because that's the way we do it.
Why don't
Well,
we
then-
put it in the wording to a motion so that it's in black and white and exactly what we are.
Because she
wanting?
has
Well, we
to
can, we
explain
can,
it.
we can also authorize the superintendent to sign the contract with those parameters that we are
But we
saying.
still don't have anything in writing that says what exactly she is doing. And that is my point.
And
Not the E&D side.
beyond that, the,
Beyond that, for the
Beyond.
cash reconciliations and all that
well,
other stuff.
it does say billable $125 per hour, approved by superintendent in writing prior to work starting. So I mean, anything additional would have to be approved by the superintendent. Can we just agree, because she does have a date of 7/31, which is Friday, otherwise the price may go up.
But that
But
is
that makes
for
just a
E&D.
carrot, right?
Yeah, that is
So-
for E&D.
Right, so can
yeah.
we vote to approve the E&D
Yeah,
without?
that's what I was
Yeah, that's
saying.
right.
I was saying, let's separate it, do the other one, because there's no timestamp on that
Right.
one.
Correct.
No, but what I'm suggesting is that we need the other work to be done first. So, and we just discovered this literally yesterday. So there was nothing. Can we say as a committee that we would approve this and give the superintendent authority to sign a similar condition that would outline these things? Or we could have our business manager review and, I mean, what parameters, so that the work can get started sooner than later. I would hate to have to wait another month to have the preparatory work done before we get to the actual E&D work. That's kind of where we are. Bob?
I have no problem as long as the terms and conditions are outlined in the motion deliberately. I would have no problem voting for that.
Okay. All
I
right.
think we should put a cap on the amount.
Well, it is.
That's what
Right.
she said.
Yeah.
But I think,
And those have to
The
be
cap-
added into the
Yeah.
motion
Yeah.
so that we have our parameters set in the motion.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we entertain a motion first for the E&D contract that's before us with the scope of services outlined at $5,500. If we vote on that, then we can craft the motion that we want for the second part.
so we are now paying our treasurer $27,000 for all services, $27,500?
We are paying her, $17,000 in her treasurer role.
Right,
The $10,000 we're talking about
10 or
is
10.5?
10-5.
10.5, sorry, yes, 10.5, 10.5.
No, we're talking about the whole thing, Nance.
Well, but the
It's a
10.5 is
potential.
for accounting work that is outside of the scope of the treasurer's role.
Right.
And it's a part of the company, Education Finance Services. She happens to be the employee of that company that would help us with that work and is knowledgeable of our accounts. And hopefully it will be a one-time piece. We get things going, and then we have our monthly reconciliations. We shouldn't have to do this again. I view this as a one-time expense, very well founded, only because we've had such difficulties. We didn't get balances like you asked. We should be able to get all of those in the future if we can invest this bit of money.
I'd like to call the question.
Okay.
Did we have a motion?
No.
Now, we haven't. Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to move to approve, Cami, where's her name? Lamika's, contract for E&D services at a fee of $5,500.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, so motion by Amy, seconded by Art to approve the proposal for E&D services by Cami Lamika, and I'm just gonna add of education finances services. Is there any other discussion on that?
Yes.
Carl?
When this identical document, and I believe it was an identical document, was presented to the school committee a month ago, I'm not sure the date.
Yeah.
I raised certain objections. Those objections still stand. And I would be derelict in my obligation to do what's best for the school committee if I said that this should be approved for several reasons. Let me list them. Termination, okay, so $5,500 divided by their billable rate, presumably their billable rate is $125 an hour. That's 44 hours worth of work, right?
Okay.
Now, general provisions, 2, termination for convenience, whatever convenience means. I've never seen that in a contract before, that you can terminate it for convenience. Meaning you go, what, you're gonna take 3 months and live in Portugal? What if that termination convenience happens prior to the completion of their work? We've paid them $5,500. When are we paying them? Net 30. 60 days later, they've done 12 hours of work and they've gotten $5,500 for it. In other words, about 4 times what they were entitled to. If you want to terminate it, you have to, and this is just one objection. If you're going to allow either party to terminate, you have to provide that if the work contracted for has been completed. If it hasn't been completed, why are they entitled to the $5,500? They're not. 2, this is a contract for the E&D work. Why does it say additional hours not related to E&D work? That's crazy. This is a contract for E&D work, and here we're saying, billed in arrears for work performed outside the scope above. In other words, for non-contract work, we can charge you $125 an hour. What does that mean? If we're agreeing to pay them $5,500, then there are no additional billing hours outside the contract for E&D work. That's it. That's the contract. If they run over their presumably 44 hours, then they can apply to us for increased compensation based on their underestimate of the amount of work that has to be done. I think the school district would be making a serious mistake, and I want to be on record as saying that I can't approve this contract as it's written. It's faulty in several important regards, and I don't want to be the one, even though I may no longer be a member of the school committee at the time, that comes back and say, and I don't want to be the one who says, didn't I say something about this? Because now I'm saying something about it. This, and I would be very surprised, shocked, almost, if Murphy, Lemire and Murphy said this is okay. That's it.
All right. One thing I do want to point out, it does, and it is it does kind of support the conflicting about the payment. It does say 50% at draft sheet balance completion. So it's like some of the work, this gets completed, 50% is paid, and then the remaining when it's all, that's this bullet right here, Carl.
I see that.
And so, it's not like we're going to pay them $5,500 and let them run away and not do the work.
Although the bullet above that says we are.
I understand. So I understand the conflict here. Kim?
So, two things. Termination for convenience means ending a contract with any fault, blame, or breach by the other party. It lets a business or the government cancel an agreement simply because their needs, budgets, or goals have changed. So that there's no... And second, did you say Josh's team has not looked at this contract, correct?
They did look.
At this one, not at the previous one, at this one.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
All right.
Can I
So-
amend my motion? I don't know if this will suffice everyone, but
What would you like to propose?
can we just, the same thing, but pending Josh looks at this and makes the necessary changes in terms of all of
Pending legal review?
Carl's concerns.
No, I can see that.
Wait, what?
All right. Yeah, no. Nancy?
Carl, what are, I know what the changes are that you want to see, or would like to see. Is there a way that we can basically, to Amy's point, change amend the motion so that it meets your concerns so that we can start to get this underway, or no?
Well, I'm going to sort of answer your question. The proper way to do this, we have an attorney for a reason. This is a proposal. If we approve it tonight, it becomes more than a proposal. It is a binding contract. We are bound by its terms. We can't make it conditional because, for a number of reasons, but you have a very difficult time making an amendment to a written contract if both parties to the contract have not agreed that it can be amended by mutual consent and in writing. So I think the motion that I would like to say is we will submit this to our legal counsel for their report and suggestions, and based on that, we will vote up or down. That's the way to do it. That's clean, and that protects the district from spending money that it might not have to spend. These people might be the nicest people in the world. They might be people who help blind people walk across the street. But that doesn't mean they've given us a good contract,
Okay.
which they haven't.
Okay. Miguel?
I just wanted to add that it does say in terms of billable additional hours performed outside the scope above, so it would entail anything that was outside the R&D.
Then it shouldn't be in the contract.
Well,
It's an E&D, it's a contract for E&D.
Basic,
it could be a secondary contract, and
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
it also adds that amendments to be made by mutual agreement in writing signed by both parties, so there is a provision for additional amendments, but,
yeah, and actually, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, amendments can be made in writing by both parties. Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor to approve. We have a number of suggestions for change. I don't know if we want to keep that motion, withdraw that motion. What is the
We want
I don't know,
Bob to-
Bob, you got a thought?
My thought is, I understand Carl's point of view, spoken as a true lawyer, right down to the final detail. But in the interest of getting things done and in motion, I would approve the motion as amended to have legal look at it. I know it leaves a little gray area that Carl will not be happy with, but I think it would help to get this in motion and not delay.
Okay. Well,
Well, here-
Are there any other comments? I say, we'll vote and we'll figure out which way we're going here.
Yeah, well, here, Mr. Kilmer. Mr. Kilmer, I appreciate your comments and right, I'm not happy with it, but that's what we are. We're a democracy here.
That's right.
If I'm the only no vote, I'm the only no vote. That's
Okay.
how it works.
Okay, all right. Kim?
So we're voting on a contract that's not a contract that hasn't even been glanced at by our legal department. Which even if they say, I'm taking this out, doesn't mean she's going to agree because she's the one that put it in there.
Yes.
Which could be several back and forths anyways, which means we miss the 31st date, which is 2 days from now.
Right.
So,
But we still have to wait for a month. There's a whole month before our next meeting.
right, so we can call a special meeting. We can have something done, but to put a district in a binding legal contract with a motion that we'll never see again. And we're still supposed to approve it because that contract has to come back before us again with any alterations for us to approve it, even if it goes through legal. Because that's the way it works.
Wow.
This is not a perfect contract. I understand that. Carl's brought up many points that need to be addressed, and I think our legal will address it. But as far as getting something done, I hate to bring it up, but this committee has been about as dysfunctional and slow to respond to many issues. I think it's time that we start to move these things along. And even if it isn't a perfect contract, we can address that going forward.
We don't even close out the year until the end of August. So what's the July 31st deadline for? Because we still have summer school and all that other stuff.
I would say she's just trying to
Yeah.
get, it's just a date to try to, line up
carrot.
her work.
Yeah.
It's her deadline.
That's
It's
what I was
not the
asking
end of
because
the year deadline.
because all our
Absolutely.
figures aren't even in yet.
No, but we also know that things haven't been reconciled for
Yeah.
probably the whole year into last year. And so it's pre-work to get done, in preparation for this. So this is the conversation just on,
Can I call a question?
yeah, somebody like to second that?
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to call the question
And can I modify that
on
just?
the motion.
No, we should do
Well,
away with this
technically, no.
motion.
We have
I'm
to,
not sure
yeah.
that you can.
Technically, no.
recant it
Technically,
You have to
no.
withdraw the motion and make a new motion.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
then.
so are you gonna withdraw or are we gonna call the question?
Well, I was gonna add that, I don't know at this point. I don't even know where we are, to be honest.
Well, we're voting on what's right in front of us. But with lots of comments about, legal approvals and
And
that
that
sort of thing.
motion was amended to have legal look at this contract.
That was an amendment.
Well,
No, it was not.
It
It was
wasn't
not an
really,
amendment.
no,
Amendment.
it was suggested, but it
It
was
was
never
suggested,
formally.
but it
And that's
wasn't.
It
what I would
was,
like
should
to
we
do.
amend?
Okay, so let's,
Well, the question's been called, so we have to vote as it stands, all right? So,
She didn't
Let's
get a
just do
second.
it.
Following on that,
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
yeah,
then it would have gone away.
Amy
No.
made the motion, Art made the motion, Nancy just called the question, Amy just seconded the call to
So
question.
we're voting to call.
This is the vote to call,
Yes.
okay? Nancy,
Yes,
Bob,
no.
Miguel,
No.
Amy,
No.
Carl,
No.
Kim,
No.
No.
Art, no?
Well, I'm in the
Okay.
majority.
Okay, all right, so now we can amend the motion if we would like to.
Yes.
All right,
I would like to amend the motion.
We have to withdraw the motion first.
I
well,
would
we
like,
could do an amendment, and
She
then you
can't-
vote
I
on the
don't-
amendment first, and then the motion.
It would be easier for Michelle's records just to withdraw the question. and
I don't think
then-
anything is easy for her records at this point. You can tell, I don't tell me.
Would you like to withdraw? Would you like to withdraw?
Yeah, it's easier.
Okay,
that way.
withdraw, and then we'll make a brand new motion.
No, right, go for it.
Okay, so that motion is withdrawn.
I would like to make a motion to accept Education Finance Services LLC's contract after revision by legal counsel.
Shall we say review and revision?
I
Sure.
was gonna say that.
After review
And
by,
revision for $5,500 for the scope of work for E&D services. Period, the end.
Second.
okay, so we have a motion by Amy, seconded
Nicely done.
by Bob. Now,
Discussion?
discussion,
Can we add with the removal of that clause that says, what was it again?
Termination for 90 days.
Termination of convenience. I think that should be added to the motion because that is where the hangup is.
well, I wasn't sure if the hangup was there or if it was the
For
line
me-
about
Can we put
additional
that to legal,
billable
can we
hours.
put that to legal review?
Yeah, isn't
Like,
that
just to
the
make,
point?
I mean, if he recommends it, then when we put him the contract, raise that as a concern, rather than putting it in the motion.
That's,
Well, I mean, we
Point of
can, I mean, yeah, Art?
Has anybody said where the money's coming for any of this?
We have not discussed exactly, it is my thought, it's going to be coming out of contingency. Unless there are other funds that,
Well, that's $50,000.
it is, it's not that much. But 10,000 to get our finances in order?
Up to 10,000.
Up to
The 40 is
10.5,
not
yeah,
guaranteed.
Up to 10.5.
Up to 10.5
Okay,
to get our, no, I mean,
No, okay.
I made an assumption on contingency. I don't know if there'll be other savings within that cost center, I do not know that.
okay.
Any other comments? Well,
I
then,
have a quick question. When you say contingency, what do you mean by that? Do you
It's
you
a
mean-
fund we
you mean
have
the-
for
You mean the
costs.
equivalent of free cash?
no, there's a line in our budget that says contingency $50,000, like for unforeseen stuff.
Free cash.
We could transfer it.
But
But
isn't,
it-
isn't
it's-
Emergency
the
fund.
functional
It would be more
equivalent
like a
of free cash?
reserve, it'd be more
It's
like a
emergency.
reserve fund,
Emergency.
not free cash, if you wanted to equate it to town lingo. Towns
Break in
have
case
reserve
of, break
funds.
glass in case of
Free cash is
emergency.
totally different. E&D is our free cash.
I know that
equivalent.
E&D is,
So
we
it's,
call
yeah,
our free cash E&D.
We can
Exactly.
designate it to how we want to
so
use it.
contingency is a town's equivalent to reserve fund,
Okay,
In case of an emergency or unforeseen expenses.
yeah. All right.
and we have that. We have
Yes.
Was it carried
$50,000
over in the budget?
It's, as far as I know, it's
And have we?
50,000 is in there, yeah.
Can I ask another
I don't know if
question?
there is
Have we,
50,000
We level- it was
have
level.
we always had that thing? that-
Contingency?
A contingency pot
We
Yeah.
have
to delve
had it every
into?
year.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, it's been there forever.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
At least it has been there forever. I
Yeah.
can't tell you if it's there now. It
Well, I
was-
believe it is, everything was level, so it should be the same.
It is there now, I can assure everybody, it is there now.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, okay. No other conversation or comment on this, then let's vote on E&D with legal review. Nancy,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Carl,
I think yes. I mean, that translates to a yes.
Kim,
With a bit of trepidation, but okay.
No.
Art.
Yes.
Okay, and Julie, yes. Okay, so we will work with, we'll get this to legal, we will work with EFS, and we'll try to address all of the concerns that have been raised, but thank you, we will get that in there. And with the conversation we've had, I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't assume, I don't know if there is appetite for the additional work that we're talking about, since we don't have anything there, but perhaps whatever terms we agree that are appropriate, we can get something, and so we can look at that in
And-
August for the preliminary
I
work.
think if we do additional work for up to $40, maybe, or 40 hours, maybe we make it less at first 20 hours or so, since it's an unknown.
We can consider that.
Procedural question.
Yeah, sure, Brian?
I would really, with all humility, please ask this committee to approve this work. This will allow Matthew to start our year with a completely reconciled FY25 and FY26. Cammie has said it will be up to 40 hours. You can put any stipulations on it from her previous contract. Her previous contract for the treasurer work includes the stipulation that any additional work would be at her rate approved by the school committee. We can put together any kind of documentation that you folks are looking for. But I completely agree with Bob. We need to have a mechanism to move forward. And Cammie's question was exactly this. If we are waiting for school committee approval, every time something is outside the exact scope of the work, we will be delaying the work unnecessarily. I would urge you all to please reconsider. Please allow her up to 40 hours to get Matthew on an even keel so that he may begin his work on a level playing field and we can get a jump start on the actual budget work for FY28. I don't want to see E&D coming in late again. I don't want to see, we committed to correcting the errors from last year. For me, this is something that is by a known entity who has the most history of our finances of anyone. I would urge you all to please reconsider, allow her to do the work that she has offered within the scope of the contract that was signed. You can put whatever parameters, whatever reporting you want me or Matthew to bring to you on this. But this work does need to get done, and I urge you all, as humbly as I can, to allow her to go forward and help us get started.
So we could consider this, since the contract's okay with the treasurer for additional hours, that these up to 40 hours would be additional hours through that contract. It doesn't necessarily have to be a separate contract. I think
Not
that's
to
what we're
exceed
trying to
40.
say. But put the parameters are, okay, I see 1, 2, 3. Carl?
Well, no.
Kim first? Sorry, Kim?
Actually, it's procedural more than anything.
Yes.
Is there a way, because I know during COVID and a whole bunch of other stuff, we kind of finagled things, is for her to do a contract with the scope of work on the other things that she's considering to be sent out to school committee for us to review, and that we could do a simple Zoom meeting for a vote, which would take about half hour.
Okay, Carl?
Or do we even have to, can we vote by email as long as there's a quorum? Because I know
that.
I know like on certain things, like on certain,
It has to be recorded though publicly, doesn't it?
it would be recorded because it's an email. It would be our school committee email.
But it has to be an open session so that.
It would have
But
to
it could be
posted.
released.
I don't know. Carl,
We
okay.
just learned in our
I'm not
training.
sure that I understand Dr. Ricker's request that he just made. Is he suggesting that we vote to rescind the vote we just took?
No.
No.
Oh.
To approve the additional 40 hours for reconciliation work. So that work can begin.
Oh, okay, so I misunderstood.
Oh, okay, Art?
All right, I misunderstood.
Which contract? Off from this contract?
Well, no.
Or
you
off
be-
Tammy's other
off
contract?
of the other contract because,
Then he can't do that,
why?
because Tammy is working,
Kim.
Cammie is working, that's a different contract than Cammie and this firm.
Cammie's an individual, I believe.
Cammie is an individual working on our treasurer's account.
Yes.
So this is a totally different.
She's gonna be working with this firm to reconcile our accounts. So you would have to add it to this contract. You can't, I don't believe you can add it to her other contract. Because
Or you have to
Cammie
have a different one.
is a separate person on that contract, and she's working for a firm on this contract.
No, her treasurer contract
Is
no
also,
longer an individual contract. You guys voted to sign the treasurer, she now works for the
Okay.
firm.
yeah, she's a partner, she's a partner in this company.
She's a subcontractor now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I take that
yeah,
all
so
back.
that's why we're going over this. She's not necessarily employee, she's subcontractor, and that's where
Okay.
all of this even
No,
came from.
that's okay.
Because it's a new company,
It's
and
okay.
that probably.
It's okay, it's okay.
Okay. Bob,
As much as I don't like to vote for a contract that we don't have, in the view of getting things in motion, as long as we put all parameters into the motion, I believe we could move forward with this with a reasonable amount of safety.
Should we discuss parameters?
I was just gonna make a motion.
yeah, Kim?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve up to 40 hours at Cammie's hourly rate
Which is 125.
of $125 to be documented what she does specifically for those hours with a consultant contract to follow from legal. So we'll approve 125, we'll approve 40, we'll approve it because she's going to document everything and tell us what she is exactly doing for that money. And then legal will make the contract following those parameters. So a little ass backwards, but
But puts it in motion.
pigeonholes her to saying, yes, this is it, this is what I gotta do. And if she doesn't accept the contract, that's not our fault, we approved it.
Do
But
we
it-
want to say for cash reconciliation purposes, since that's.
Yes.
But,
That's the
and
scope of
also,
work.
and
Needs to say
other
that.
encompassing areas. Because there might be something like, oh, cash,
Yeah.
oh, but I gotta look over here because
Beyond the
there's
scope
another
of
account.
R&D as well.
And related areas.
And related areas.
Okay. All right, so we
But-
have that motion.
Second.
Okay, so Kim made the motion, Bob seconded. We have a motion that we'll approve, and we're gonna say EFS because that's their consulting company. EFS, 40 hours, up to
Not
40
so.
hours, $125 an hour. Documentation, legal contract for cash reconciliation and any related work. Is that, we got that about right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
believe so.
Any other discussion? All right, roll call vote. Nancy,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Miguel,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Carl.
My contracts professor, H. Allen Farnsworth,
Carl, yes or no?
from 60 years ago would make me sit in a corner with a dunce cap on if I said yes, so I have to say no.
Sorry, Carl.
I agree.
Kim,
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
And Julie, yes. Okay, approved. Thank you very much. I know that this was difficult and, yeah, a little bit backwards, and I do hope that all this work is gonna get us back where we wanna go. Let's move along. There is unfinished business. I don't think we have any before us. I don't see public for public comment. Future agenda items. I can just announce we will have an early college presentation at the next meeting. So, that is one piece.
Future agenda items.
Yeah, you have something for future agenda item?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss going back to having one public comment on
Oh,
our,
okay,
I'll join Arthur in that request.
Yeah, it gets too long.
okay. Okay, so we'll discuss that.
But I would like to see it at the end of the meeting, not at the
Well,
beginning.
we'll discuss it the next time.
Yeah, I think that actually makes more sense instead of having one at the beginning to let
Just
people
let people
digest
listen.
things. Because we may cover what they want to ask or say about.
All right. Maybe the chair will just take it into consideration and put it at the end. How about that?
I think we have to vote on it because we voted to get it, we voted
All
to.
right, let's do that then. Okay. So we are done with that. Now we're ready for a motion to enter executive session.
enter into executive.
I, since it's about me, wish to deny executive session and remain in open session,
Okay. That is fine.
as my right is able to do so.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Can I have a
Okay.
question? I have a question now. Oh, we're not gonna enter into
We're
executive.
not
Nope.
gonna enter into.
We're gonna be in
exec-
open
we're
session,
gonna
so
be
my
in open-
question is
Okay.
not pertinent.
Okay, Michelle, can you let Josh know, because I know he was joining us. And he'll probably need that Zoom link. All right.
Are we going back into, are we gonna?
No, Kim has denied executive
All the
session.
points that are moved.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I would like to take each one of those things that you sent me, one by one.
Okay, well, I've got, legal counsel is here. When we get Josh with us, because I know he was waiting for executive session, I have to state.
And I'll be right back, I just need to take a break for a second.
That would be me too.
I
Anybody
was
else?
thinking that too, but I think I can make it. If you see a puddle underneath me later, you'll know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, please, oh my
I
God.
can drink faster.
All right.
Jury duty once, they were keeping this for.
You probably don't have to stay.
I could.
What's that?
I said he probably doesn't have to stay unless he wants to enjoy it.
Everyone,
That's
all
probably
jurors
true.
have like,
That is
thank
up to you.
Just so
Yeah.
much everyone was
You're
like,
not
Not
required
required
to
to
stay.
stay, and if it was executive
No,
session,
no,
we'd probably be
no,
asking you
Yeah, I
to
was
leave,
thinking-
but it's not, so you're welcome to stay, but.
But you certainly
Thank
don't
you,
have to.
thank you for the introduction.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We were there
Seeing you guys
forever.
again.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, nice
yeah.
meeting you.
Yes, yes.
Welcome
I
aboard.
couldn't.
Thank you.
You got a feel for the kind of
Good luck.
questions our committee has.
And I look forward to tomorrow.
Okay.
Everyone.
And he has a list of to-dos for us.
Well, he knew he came in with a very long list of to-dos. There is no doubt about that.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Likewise.
There isn't water on that table, is there?
There's cans of water down
okay.
underneath.
I think there's one left.
Yeah, it looks like there might be two.
Two?
I don't know.
There's a couple there. Would you like me to get you one?
Well, that would be really nice of you, Bob.
Okay. All right.
That was his name, H.
Yeah.
Allen Farnsworth.
And he would put you in a corner?
Oh, after a fair amount of it, oh, yeah.
Canned
Well-
water?
Canned water?
Canned water.
Have you ever had boxed water? That's gotta be the grossest stuff in the world.
What is it called?
It's boxed water because
Oh, boxed water.
Barrington doesn't have bottles anymore. So they want you to buy boxed water. And it's like drinking cardboard.
Well,
It's like coconut water, you still in boxes.
they also claim that aluminum cans are more recyclable than plastic, therefore better for the environment.
I know.
Yeah.
This
No,
one,
I
this
don't know.
apparently has electrolytes,
Ooh,
so it says.
That's why I'm-
electrolytes. What, is Josh taking a nap?
Yeah, what is he doing?
No, he's in executive session, I'm just sending the link to open session.
Oh, he went to the wrong
Well,
Zoom link.
posted it for executive, so.
Yeah, just don't
Sorry.
wanna be there.
Now we just have to
Sorry.
bring him
I
back.
should check with you
Yeah, probably.
sooner. Or he might have let me know. Either way, he could go either way.
I like the, the surprise.
Thank you, Jim. See you again soon.
See you again soon.
That way everything becomes public record.
Well, even in executive session.
Yeah,
it
but you
can
gotta
be.
wait a long time. By the time they do minutes and release everything. So
Yeah.
this way it comes right out.
It does.
Evidence, everything.
For things like this, I prefer open meeting myself.
I do too. You hate getting blindsided by executive session.
The executive session is good for some things.
Some things.
Who was saying, was it you, Bob, who was saying that this is better for the environment than plastic?
That's what they claim.
Well, I think
Seriously?
it's clearly true.
Yeah, they say aluminum can be recycled more often with less harm and more efficiency
I think
than
that's-
plastic.
Yeah.
And I only
I
know
thought they
that
just
because a
melted
young
it and
woman
shredded
brought a plastic water bottle ban forward to Sheffield this year on our, at our town meeting, as an article. And she had that in her presentation. So that's the only reason I know
Oh, I
that.
have it.
Now,
This-
did it pass?
No, it did
But
not.
it was wicked close.
But it
though,
was
right?
close.
Wasn't it like?
It was
Maybe the
close.
audience?
Yeah,
I have it.
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
did you see my text? Yes,
All
I
right.
did.
Thank you.
I do
Oh,
not-
yes, he is.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
All right, just gotta let him in.
Oh, I see. Great.
He's in the cage.
Okay. Okay.
There's Josh.
Okay.
There he is.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, all right, our meeting was longer than I estimated. So we are in open session rather than the motion for executive session.
Okay.
So we'll see how some of this plays out, but at any rate, the school committee is here to consider a complaint filed in accordance with the open meeting law, not in executive session, but related to a pattern of alleged conduct as outlined in the letter that we have, and I suppose this letter is now public record as
Yes,
well,
it is.
since we're going to do that. And I can read the allegations into the record.
Don't you have to read all of them?
Well,
Because they all need to be read.
Well, I was gonna read all of the allegations, not the entire letter. That was the whole thing, so I was looking at where are the allegations. You have chosen to have open session, not executive, so none of that piece is here, but
Okay. So
this
what-
is in regard to the complaint regarding Kim Alcantara, we'll be clear on that. And the allegations, failure to adhere to the Massachusetts Association of School Committee and Southern Berkshire Regional School District norms and beliefs, allegations summarized. You repeatedly delayed and disrupted the process for the district's budget by repeatedly making false or misleading statements, including stating at the June 11th school committee meeting that there is a $2.5 million surplus. Secondly, misused authority by granting permission to a former school administrator to retain district property, specifically an iPad and a cell phone, at the district's expense for more than 8 months without consent of the school committee. Third, abuse of your authority by exercising administrative responsibility outside of the school committee governance role, overstepping and managing attendance of district employees, engaging in conversation with the business service consultants without approval of the school committee. Such conduct undermines the ability of the school committee to function effectively as a unified governing body and diminishes the trust necessary to serve the district's students and families. Part 2, general unethical behavior. School committee members expected to maintain highest of ethical standards, honesty, and integrity in their public role. So the first complaint there, received a formal complaint. I know you were aware, we did an initial discussion of this in February, of your disrespectful behavior toward our then interim superintendent at the Finance Subcommittee on February 26, 2026, citing your unwillingness to help with the budget and instead choosing to hinder the process to not have a budget in time and then do a blame game. That complaint during that executive session was never resolved. And the second one, the school committee chair and vice chair received an employee's complaint alleging that you were at Bokie's Steak and Ale in Great Barrington after the school committee meeting on March 26th, asking about their attendance at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. The alleged conduct could significantly damage both this employee's professional reputation as an educator, as well as their standing within the community. These allegations have called into question your adherence to the ethical responsibilities associated with public office, and such behavior is incompatible with the spirit of ethical leadership expected under the principles of public service and the expectations of the school committee. So just for initial context, when the vice chair and I began discussion of this behavior and working with council on these proceedings, we discussed a list of 16 potential concerns. Each one was cross-referenced with our policies, BBAA and BCA, as well as our school committee handbook and the MASC Code of Conduct. The 6 that I read represent our broad areas of concern: your violation of the Southern Berkshire and the MASC policies, and your general unethical behavior. Legal counsel has been asked to join to review the grounds articulated, and in order to make this meeting efficient, it is my intent, however, I heard what you said, not to necessarily deliberate each and every claim, but to discuss the overall pattern of conduct that we witnessed and to ascertain if the school committee would like to consider and execute a censure motion. And I'm going to ask Josh to make remarks, and then Kim, you will be able to respond. So Josh, do you have remarks at this time?
Yeah, my recommended, Ms. Alcantara, this is an open session at your request. I'm assuming you're waiving, you were afforded, obviously, the right to have counsel. You've chosen not to have counsel.
Correct.
Present, is that correct?
Yep.
In terms of a procedure for the meeting, what I would propose is provide the committee the opportunity to discuss the letter, and obviously then provide you an opportunity to respond to anything you want to respond to in the letter that's the basis for the potential censure motion. I'm open to through the chair, I would provide the committee the opportunity first if they have any comments, and then turn the floor over to you to provide any comments. I would not personally recommend that we have a deliberation back and forth on the merits. This is not an investigation per se, it's an allegation only, based on the complaints and based on the documents and the email that have been provided to you.
Gosh, does the motion need to be made first for discussions?
There could be a discussion first, there doesn't need to be a motion at this point.
I have a question, Josh.
Kim has a question for you, Josh.
What if I have
Sure.
documentation refuting a lot of the claims?
You can provide that to the committee to be considered, that's fair.
During this meeting, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So then it sounds like, Josh, at this time, we can open the discussion first up to the committee to see if they are interested in pursuing a censure motion based on the letter. That would be the first piece. And obviously, if there is interest in doing that, we would go through and we would hear Kim's response. We would make a motion, we would hear Kim's response, and then we would vote at that at the end. If there is not appetite for pursuing a censure motion, then basically the discussion ends. Is that how I understand this, Josh?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I'm wondering if anyone, school committee, and Nancy obviously on Zoom still, have comments to make about this potential motion. Carl?
I think Nancy was ahead of me.
Oh, Nancy? No? No, I think she has something on her wall and it maybe looks like a hand there, Carl. I see that. It's white.
It's a towel.
Yeah. There's something there.
Okay, I have a couple of comments.
You have comments, yes.
You waived a packet.
I waived a packet because when we began, we had a list of like 16 different things. We worked with council and we brought it down to 6.
Okay,
And so
but that-
so
no, go
that
ahead. I'm
was,
sorry.
that's all.
But that waived packet has waived, and you've waived it into admission as a public document.
If you'd like.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
I don't think it's if I like, I think it's a requirement. I
Okay,
think the
well, it was
I think
just-
the documents presented, no matter how they're presented, by wave, by sliding it across the table at a school committee meeting, at any public
Okay,
meeting, become part of the record. So I'd like to make sure that that's clear.
okay.
Now I have a couple, maybe we wanted to, my first and my major complaint, I'd say it's my major complaint. There is an allegation in your letter, Julie,
Uh-huh.
accompanied by a letter to, it's interesting, the letter from Katrina Carolone went to Brian Ricca, you, Andrew Rapport, I don't know why, Jonathan Bruno, again, I don't know why, Amy Bainbridge Jordan, and not to any other members of the committee.
No, it went to the chair, the vice chair, the superintendent, her supervisor, and to the union president.
Okay, well, she decided to do that, and
She did.
yeah. Doesn't this disciplinary proceeding, isn't it supposed to involve actions or inaction by a school committee member acting within the scope of their position as a member of the school committee? There is no evidence. One, it's double if not triple hearsay what she says, because she doesn't claim that committee member Alcantara said it to her, or even that she overheard it. She just says it was said. That's double hearsay at a minimum, and we don't know if it's triple or quadruple hearsay. And because this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, it should not be part of our consideration on any discipline, meaning censure. Secondly, is there any evidence that Kim Alcantara was at, what's the name of the place where this
Bogies.
allegedly happened?
Bogies.
Bogies. She was acting within her capacity as a member of the school committee, or she was just a private citizen?
So can I intervene if I can, Chair?
Of course.
Carl, to that point. So these are allegations. They have not been investigated. I guess the other option available to the committee is normally if there's a complaint against an administrator, this would be a little unusual. There has been no investigation of any of these allegations. The complaint went to, I don't have the email right in front of me this minute, but it went to the chair of the committee at the time and the superintendent. And these have not been investigated. So they're putting forth for you because of the notice of the complaint that are not attested to by being put in the letter. I don't want to speak for the chair, but she's not alleging they're accurate as alleged. No one has done an investigation of this individual. She filed a complaint, and then to your second point, she claims she knew that Ms. Alcantara was a school committee member. I'm not, and I don't think the chair or vice chair are implying, it's not like Kim was allegedly, and she could speak for herself, identifying herself as a school committee member. She recognized her as a school committee member. But again, these are all allegations. So the other option, I guess the other avenue available to the committee, which would be highly unusual, especially when we're in an open session, is the committee could request that these be investigated. These have not been investigated. There's concerns that have been raised either by school committee members or in this particular case by an outside citizen who is an employee of the school.
Well, okay, so if I may respond in two ways, Josh. First, I'm concerned about not allowing member Alcantara to cross-examine the witness, the alleged witness. Two, she knew she was a school committee member. So if I'm shopping at Big Y and a former student who knows me because they're in my chess club comes up to me and hugs me. And a member of the community who lives in Sheffield, within the Southern Berkshire Regional School District, sees it, knows that I'm a school committee member, and files a complaint. Am I acting as a school committee member because a person who was in my chess club 8 years ago, that's sufficient to call into question my performance as a school committee member? We don't have private lives, I guess. It sounds really crazy to me, but I think almost as important as the fact that there is no evidence that Kim Alcantara held out the fact that she was there as an observer and a member of the school committee. But at a minimum, she should be allowed to cross-examine this person. Who did Kim Alcantara say it to you personally? Did she say it to someone else? Do you know how many people? If she said it to someone else, who'd she say it to? How do you know she said it to that person? All those questions that we as lawyers in a litigation setting would ask under cross-examination. And I think there is no question that the trier of fact, or the judge in this, let's say it's a judge trial, a bench trial, the judge would say, that can't come in. It's hearsay upon hearsay. It's inherently unreliable. I think it's very, very unfair for that to be allowed. I think it should be stricken from this complaint because of those infirmities.
The committee can decide that. Amy?
I just want to comment specifically on behavior in the community, and I know that Carl and Kim, you weren't here for the training that we actually talked about this just this afternoon. And I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunately, yes, we are school committee members 100% of the time. And the question that MASC used often in the training back in November and Liz brought up again tonight is asking ourselves, of course you can do this, but should you? So our behavior 100% of the time, again, fortunately or unfortunately in the public eye, is going to be scrutinized, which could contribute to why this email was sent, which again, we are not saying it's true or false, we're saying allegations were made. But yeah, I mean, we do have to be very aware of our behavior if we're going to be in an elected position.
May I? First of all, it's hearsay upon hearsay. Nobody heard me say it. It is an allegation. I go to bogeys probably at least 3 times, 4 times a month with my family because I'm a very busy person. I walk in, the waitresses know me, they take my order. Half of them don't even ask me what I want because they know my kids order this order, that order. So I am at bogeys, I admit that. The 26th, that's a very specific date considering I go there 4 times a month. And for somebody not to hear something, but was told on that specific day when I go there quite frequently, that was then told to somebody else and nobody has any evidence. They can't prove I was there. They don't know if I was saying something. And to be accused of something that is in my private life, I don't, should you, would you, could you? It really isn't the discretion of the school committee to do me a should you, could you, would you in my private life, especially for something that is hearsay. Show me something solid. But right now, it's degrading. All of these are degrading, and we'll go through them one by one.
Keep in mind that they can.
It doesn't matter. It is targeted.
No, I want to say it was degrading to this employee as well.
But you don't even know if I said it. I may not have said it. Do you know I said it? You're assuming right now, you're saying it was degrading to that employee. That just made an assumption that I actually said it.
I'm just going on the fact that we got the complaint, and it's back to what Josh said, we have not investigated. Okay, Carl and then Nancy.
Okay. I'm really disturbed by what Amy just said. Here's a hypothetical. I hire a woodworker to put shelves in my bedroom closet. It has no shelves, just has a hanging bar, but I have some shirts and stuff that I want to shelve in there. Unbeknownst to me, he installs a camera in that closet. And he comes back to do the finishing work, to paint the shelves. They're a little bit out of line, to fix them up. He takes the camera, and on it is are images of me having an inappropriate sexual relationship with an underage person.
What?
This is going a little far. I think this is going a little far.
Am I a school committee member for those?
I think we're off the
I think this is getting.
Oh, no, that's what Amy said. I am. I'm always a school committee member.
I think you're taking it a little too literally here.
I do want to say something else after that. I don't even know where. Since this is my defense.
Hold on, I need to go to Nancy. And Josh, you just wave if you need to interject here, please. Nancy?
Yeah.
I think that it's not the only allegation. I think that I don't have the letter up in front of me right now, but Tara White's letter regarding the behaviors that were witnessed, they're on video. A lot of so.
That has nothing to do with Katie Carolan.
I get some of the it's something to discuss and consider, but there is.
So if I could suggest, because you'll be here all evening.
Yes, we will.
You either can provide Kim an opportunity to respond to each one. Their allegations, we are in public. I would caution the committee as a whole with legal counsel to start going off of hypotheticals of scenarios. There is a reporter in the room along with other members of the public, and you can say whatever you want. But I'm just cautioning the committee as a whole. Their allegations, I would suggest at this point through the chair, if there's other comments, or I would at this point suggest that we let Ms. Alcantara respond to each allegation, and then the committee decide which, if any, allegations they want to censure. It sounds like there's, at least from Mr. Stewart, a motion that at least one of the allegations should not be considered as part of the record, and the committee decides whether any or all of the allegations are considered. Again, they are allegations, they are not a complaint. The other option available to the committee is to expend the funds to hire a private investigator to investigate this. That would involve, not Ms. Alcantara cross-examining the witnesses, Mr. Stewart suggested, but having an investigator conduct an investigation. That's up to the committee to decide if they want to expend the time, money, and effort to do that.
Okay, I know Miguel had one comment, and then if it's okay, I'll let him speak, and then we'll go to Kim.
I just had questions such as what form does the censure take? I'm just not aware of that. So what does the censure look like? What are the options?
Nothing.
Well, a censure is a formal reprimand by the body. It is basically expressing our displeasure with behavior. Kim stays in her seat. We move forward, but it's just a formal way for the committee to say that we have been unhappy with certain behaviors and circumstances.
Okay.
Am I correct with that, Josh? That's how I view it.
It's basically a public reprimand. It does not remove her from her seat. That can only happen through an election process. It has no material impact with respect to her role as a member of the committee directly.
Okay. Kim?
So, one of the things on this certain topic that I find very discouraging is not only this hearsay, but the ignoring the fact that when it did happen to me and my family, when the union president called me a twat to my husband, and other words with my daughter,
And daughter, yes.
that you, Julie, and the superintendent ignored it, even though it was brought up by several school committee members. But yet a letter that has no substance, nothing, no witnesses, gets pushed to the forefront in a meeting, while that goes, oh, well, he said he's sorry. That does not count. So that shows me a lot of discrepancy there and a lot of biasness. So should we move on to the next thing? Let's talk about Tara White's letter. Well, I wasn't the only person on that letter, was I, Art?
No.
So that means you are singling me out. Art was the other complainant on that letter. Everyone received. You are targeting me. You are targeting me. That letter from Tara White was brought up way back, and it is an opinion of somebody. My town watched that meeting, and none of my select board nor town administrator had a problem with my behaviors. So and there's other people who have seen it and said, yes, you were a little loud, but you asked the right questions. So you, again, not only left out the other half of the party that was on that complaint and directly targeted me. I think that's a little ridiculous. If you're going to put a censure on somebody and use that as material, you have to kind of do it both people. Am I correct, Josh? Since he was out.
Discretion, if there's a separate motion to censure Mr. Wakaki, that's something the committee can entertain. But I would suggest, Ms. Kim, that you go through the other allegations.
Oh, I'm going to. Let's go to the phone
I
one.
think with the chair's permission, that's the most orderly way.
I would think we should.
I'm gonna go with the phone one.
Since you wish to say something to each one,
I
then
do.
you say that, then we can consider response.
Yeah. So, the phone. And I'm surprised Josh didn't bring this up. Beth Regabuto was hired as a consultant. In a meeting with both Art, Josh, Mr. Ricca, and I in our Wednesday meetings, it was said that she would have the ability to access DOR, DESI, Michelle Griffin, Jennifer Iapucci, Nicholas Cantello, Cami LaMica, Mr. Ricca in the transition, people in everywhere. And I did not give her permission to keep her phone and iPad. I have that email. It says, and I quote, "Hi, Terry. Beth is still under a per diem contract with our district to at least end of year to be utilized when necessary. There is no iPad. Beth never had an iPad and will be retaining her district phone until then, so we are able to reach her for district business." Simple. That's it. I was asked to send it by the chair after the meeting with Mr. Coleman, Mr. Ricca, Beth, me. Oh, and TMS. She had to contact TMS too. And then Open Architects. And she was still doing consulting work till the end of February. Now, Julie, you've been chair since the beginning of March. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. And I have the emails from you to her conversing back and forth about that phone.
Yeah, the phone, and it may not have been, I don't know.
I don't
I
care.
referred to iPad, but it was, I understand it's
doesn't-
called something else. There were 2 devices, just to clarify.
Well, if you're bringing charges or things about it, you should probably get it right. But the point is, I at no point gave her permission to keep those devices. And you have been working with her since April to get the devices back, get her number transferred, and receive them back at district. And I, who happened to be out in Boston on May 18th, attending Panda Fest, met up with her on my own goodwill, grabbed the devices, and brought them back to the district. I didn't have to do that, but I did. I forgot to turn them in for a week, but then I turned them over to Chris Thompson. There's one. Let's see, what's the next complaint?
You skipped 2.5 million.
Oh, the 2.5 million and deterring the budget. Oh, here. This is the best one. Oh, sorry. This, let me get out of here, is all the budgets, not all of them, there's actually a few missing, and a few memos missing, that have been done since February. None of them are complete. So, how am I deterring the budget? I asked over and over and over again, and I have all the meetings because I wrote those down too. I actually sat there and read them because I have that all though. Each point documented, minute, asking for help, saying I'll help, asking for information, all that stuff. We were left out of the meetings. Art and I were never sent links while Mr. Ricca and Sarah Chetrell and TJ met. We asked, we said we'd help, and the consultant was left out too. That is why we have all this. Not because of me. We didn't even have numbers. We didn't have numbers May 28th when we're like, oh, can we have more E&D? Oh, we're firing 17 staff. We had no numbers. We backed into an assessment. The only people that were included in on this budget was his team and you two. And at no point in time did you ever allow us to come in. You never said, hey, we're meeting here on Wednesday, come on down. Did you? We're meeting here on Tuesday, come on in. Come help us. We were told we couldn't speak during Finance Committee updates by the chair, which you cannot do according to MASC. But you did it anyways. This is what deterred the budget. The memos, the lack of figures. I even have the meeting where TJ said, oh, Mr. Ricca didn't start working on the final figures, inputting salaries, etc., because I didn't have the salary figures until late February. Is that me deterring the budget, or is that somebody not working on the budget? And finally, maybe Open Architect shouldn't give out a worksheet that shows a $2.5 million excess in a line right there. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm just floored at this. I wanted to help. I asked questions. I brought in DOR because Open Architects decides not to do our E&D for 2 months. Nick was trying and reached out via email over and over and over again to them, and they ignored it. You know when they started? March 19th, when she realized, oh, I'm locked out of the system. I contacted Michelle Griffin at DESE going, help us, our towns don't have a budget. If I was trying to deter, why am I bringing in excess help to try to get us straightened out? I called Iapucci just to make sure that we were getting circuit breaker. I called John Fitzgerald to make sure our title grants were coming in. But the information I was receiving from you and Brian was different from the information I was receiving from TJ. And we'll get to that too. So who deterred the budget? It wasn't me. I asked questions. I wanted the budget done. I wanted our students to have what they needed, our teachers not to be riffed, because I do believe I asked for more teachers to come back, and that was what the budget was voted for, was to put more teachers on. Well, guess what? Didn't happen. So, I mean, I don't know. And to this day, we don't even know where that budget's at. We don't know where 26 ended. We don't know if there's more. Along the way, we have heard TJ saying, no, there's no 2 million off on salary. We've heard TJ say multiple times that we were going to be okay on 26, unless it was overspent. Listen, all those meetings are taped. Every single one of them. And you can listen to them, because I did. And that's all I'm going to say about the budget. We'll keep going. Let's see, what's the next one? I lost my list. Carl, do you have the next one? I think I buried it in my pile of budget.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
There are two outstanding, yeah.
I need a recess. You can continue the meeting. I'll be back. I thought I could make it the extent, but I didn't realize this was going to turn into a all-nighter.
So sorry. Oh, I got it. Okay.
I feel for you. I feel for you, Bob.
Thank you, sir. Old age.
Okay, so I did that then. Okay, so let's talk about the attendance reports. In January, I requested one when I noticed that the superintendent was missing days of school. It is an open document, public knowledge, didn't do anything wrong. Also, I was ahead of the superintendent's evaluation committee, which that document would have been done and helped with evaluating him. We had meetings. We started the superintendent evaluation. Sorry. We had meetings. I have his goals right here that he submitted by November 30th. We had setup meetings. We had you saying, yes, let's get this done. I have all those emails. I wasn't the only one that was concerned with his attendance. Arthur was concerned with his attendance because we noticed over February break he didn't show up on campus. He is a full-time, year-round employee. And in his contract, it says that unless he puts in vacation days with prior notice to school committee, his vacation is expected. Carl asked for an attendance report, which Michelle sent to him. His vacation days are supposed to align with school vacations. It says so in his contract. I believe it's clause number 15. Not quite sure. But he is supposed to let you know.
Ms. Alcantara, I have to caution you, the superintendent's on this call. If you're filing a complaint.
I'm not filing a complaint,
He
but
has other let
yeah.
me finish, please. He has other rights under the open meeting law. This is about your alleged conduct and how you handle the issue. You're getting very close to a personnel issue that's going to expose the district.
So anyways, okay, so yes, I did monitor and see when I was in that position and I requested attendance reports, which is my right to do so. Superintendent evaluation never happened after we were changed over positions at all. Josh, is it a personnel issue if I say that also in his contract, which is a public document, says that he is supposed to be evaluated by June 30th?
No, that's a public record.
It is, and it's it's also guidelines for the state.
Not for an interim.
Yes, it's in his
I
contract.
don't believe so.
It's in his contract. I have it. So it is in his publicly recognized contract. It's not something that just goes away or not something you can do. Any kind of, am I wrong to say that if there's an issue with attendance or whatever, it should be held in an evaluation and discussed? And then he has a right to respond.
Are you asking me that question?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, attendance is one of the factors of the superintendent evaluation rubric.
Yep. It is. So, unfortunately, there was no evaluation, and I had sent out notices all the way up to March 11, continuing meetings and trying to get there. Our January meeting was snowed out. I have all the emails. Let's continue. Engaged in conversation with business service consultant without approval of school committee. Which one? Which one?
It's your response. I mean,
I'm asking you a question. Which one? If you're writing an allegation, I have the right to know which one.
Open architects.
TJ.
Is that what you're going to say? And you have proof?
It was TJ that told us she was
Yep.
contacting him.
I did. I reached out to him because I have meeting dates, and I admit it. And you'll see in every meeting, I asked for the same thing over and over again. I got from all of you and Mr. Ricca. I'll get that for you. We'll get that answers. We'll do that for you. I had to get my information request by a Freedom of Information Act. A school committee person and somebody on the finance committee had to put in a Freedom of Information Act to get something they had been asking for over 8 months. Carl, did you want to add anything about that one?
No, I think Josh has outlined, I will have something to say when you're complete, when you've complete, I will have more than something to say, but I will have some things to say.
I think that covered them all, didn't it?
Yes.
I have a procedural question for Josh, if I
Carl,
might.
yeah, okay.
There's two other allegations, Kim, on the second part of it.
What was that?
If you want to address that.
No, she did those.
I did those
One
first.
regarding, one I think you already addressed regarding, well, I don't know if you
No,
want
I
to.
addressed both of them. One was hearsay, and the other one was not having the other complainant and keep dragging up, and it's a public opinion, where other people's opinions don't match that one person's opinion.
Just to be clear, you're referring to the February 26th
Yep.
meeting?
Yes, they're the 26th meeting, where I asked some really hard questions.
We both did.
And Art did also.
And come to find out, the allegations of us to get us dismissed weren't true. The 26 budget came in right on schedule. So the $2.5 million that we were in the hole supposedly never happened. So here we are with that. Kim and I we were proven guilty before you had the facts.
And the narrative kept spinning over and over
and
again.
over.
Wait, so you guys thought that the 26 budget was done and complete? And
No.
you thought we were good?
No.
TJ
we
kept
didn't
saying
know.
we were on, we didn't know.
Nobody knew, but everybody accused Kim and I of putting the school district in a debt of $2.5 million in the beginning.
Yes,
I
rubber
don't
stamping a
recall
budget,
Rubber
stamping a
stamping.
budget.
And come to find out, at the end of all that, this budget was correct. The 26 budget came in where it was supposed to come in. So we got let go of this committee on hearsay of all these things that we were in so much debt, and it was Kim and my fault.
Because
So-
we sided with Beth Regabuto.
Yep, and because now the 26 budget is in, all those accusations you guys put on us were false.
Keep in mind, FY '26 is not closed out.
Okay,
But
It's, you know,
but,
it is.
but-
But that's where another Freedom of Information Act is gonna happen, because I wanna know what was actually spent.
what was what?
We know what FY '26 was supposed to be. We know what we got coming in. If there's an over expenditure on FY '26, that has nothing to do with the previous administration or us. That would be the person who assumed the budget. But we have gone through so many false narratives on this last year. Even Open Architects has said. Now, I know I am not supposed to contact legal, but where does it say that we cannot talk directly in mass law or in our handbook with a consultant?
Can I address that? Sorry, just.
Hold on, Nancy. Carl also has his hand up.
Yeah, Josh, something you said in response to Kim's presentation has a built-in inconsistency or an inherent problem in it. You warned her, I think it's fair to call it a warning, that since we were in open meeting rather than executive session, that she had to be aware of the possibility of bringing up the name of someone who should have the opportunity to have the complaint, those were air quotes, the complaint against them, that you were apparently worried that Kim was about to mention, discussed in open meeting. Now, that's already happened here, because I can't remember her name, but her initials are CC. She may even be known by that as a nickname. She wrote a letter which forms part of the complaint. Now that, and she's an employee of the school district. Is she still an employee of the school
I have no idea.
Okay, she may still be an employee of the school district, so that might, according to you, and you correct me if I'm misstating what you had to say. Now, her letter to Mr. Ricca with copies to several other people is now a matter of public record. So the revelation of a private matter that she did not, according to her, she did not want to have revealed, has now been revealed. So it's now material available to the entire community. In fact, to the Boston community, to the Springfield community, it's available to anyone who wants it. Is that a problem?
So, Carl, I think you might have misunderstood what I was saying is that there is a formal complaint against Mr. Ricca regarding his attendance or any other personnel matter, he has personnel privacy rights. I don't know, I do not have a copy of whatever other letter you're referring to. That was my only point, that if it sounded like Kim was about to start talking about another personnel matter.
No, not at all.
No, and I certainly didn't hear it that way.
No,
Okay.
I was just bringing up the public.
I think we're getting sidetracked to the issue at hand, which is whether or not the committee has any interest in pursuing a censure on any of the allegations. Ms. Alcantara has provided a response. I was trying to protect because I represent the committee as a whole, as you know, and by virtue of that, while I don't represent the superintendent, I'm being mindful that he's on this call, and also just that it sounded like there was a complaint against his attendance.
Nope,
So
I just was.
that was not the intent.
Nope.
That's all I wanted to make clear before something was said.
Nope.
Okay, it was clear to me that it wasn't. And in fact, Ms. Alcantara and I have discussed that specific matter in the past, several times. But I have a question for you. You are the attorney for the school committee, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Isn't there, I don't know the answer to this. You've been doing this school governance work, and I have not ever in my career of, I point this out because I want to remind myself that I might have trouble walking out of the room at 9 o'clock or 9:30. But I've been practicing law for 57 years. So, and I've never had a matter involved. But I am familiar with conflict of interest. And who are you representing tonight?
Who am I representing?
Yeah, you're representing the school committee with the exclusion of representing Kim Alcantara, or not? Are you representing her as well as all the other members of the school committee, or do you represent it as a body, not the individuals? Anyway, I feel that that the spirit of conflict is hovering somewhere in that geodesic dome up there.
I've always felt that district council
Mr. Stewart, I don't believe I have a conflict of interest. I was asked by the chair and the vice chair to assist in giving a legal opinion on how to prepare a motion for a censure. I'm not advocating for or against the censure. I was asked to prepare a motion and assist with preparing it.
I was going to say, I do that.
I've worked with Ms. In full disclosure, I've worked with Ms. Alcantara and Mr. Bashaki when they were chair and vice chair. I have no personal bias against Ms. Alcantara.
No, and if what I said sounded like that I was accusing you of personal bias, that's absolutely untrue. I don't believe you have. There's no evidence that you have any bias. My question was whether or not you see a potential conflict there. Not that you have bias. I don't think you do.
Through the chair, how do you want to proceed at this point?
Well, I would say, we have read all of this. I mean, I could make some brief statements in response to the response, but does the committee wish that? Does the committee wish to continue the conversation? Do we wish to pursue a motion to censure for one or more? Do we wish to dismiss? It's the pleasure of the committee.
I vote to adjourn.
You have to dismiss first.
No.
I think we should let the committee members who have things to say in response do that. And then.
I will say that I recall last year, after the committee voted to make Dr. Ricca our full-time superintendent, both Kim and Art, you both worked very hard to work against him. And that's, that was,
hold on.
I'm going to state my.
Okay, no, I have no problem.
So there was a lot of actions through several meetings where you two worked, you wanted to reprimand him. It just became very difficult to move forward in a lot of cases. I also do remember, Kim, that you put together some very elegant proposals and motions on the floor that helped propel us forward. So you have put together some good motions as well. But I do believe, especially after the training that we've done with MASC, that we have to support Dr. Ricca and most importantly the students to move forward. And I think we need to come together in a spirit of a committee members to help everybody come to the best solutions to support the students and the teachers and the community.
Julie? In deference to Miguel, that's not what's on the table. I agree, I hear what you're saying.
Well, the $2.5 million you proposed without any evidence whatsoever.
I read it off a sheet.
Well, I mean, no one else saw it.
Well, you read $2.5 million off a sheet, which was a snapshot budget.
And it wasn't finished.
And you called it a surplus without
It was
making,
at that time.
without doing any kind of analysis saying, E&D's not there, this is not there, this is not there. So there clearly were, it was not a $2.5 million surplus.
It was a sheet that said there was a 2.5, I have it right here.
I know what sheet you're talking
Why did
about.
you not bring it up to the rest of the community member?
Because I did at that point in time, because that's when I actually, that day of was when I actually really read it, because I, like you, have children, have work, have this, have that. And imagine my surprise when I saw that.
But you bring it up and you blindside.
And there's a
and don't, reach out to the superintendent, hey, what is this? To the chair, what is this? Can we talk about this? We could have talked about this, and we could have talked about it all together. Instead, you stir a media frenzy about the district having a $2.5 million surplus.
So you're saying I intentionally went to the media with
No, the media was sitting.
That's not my fault. I cannot control what they write. Yes, I said it. I read it off the sheet.
So it was you that said it.
Yes,
and that did
I
cause
read
a huge
an
stir.
open architect's document that I received.
But there's a no surprise rule for school committee. We are not supposed to come in and drop a bomb and wait to see how it explodes.
I wasn't
and unfolds.
trying to drop a bomb.
Like Julie said, we read our packets ahead of time. We see this ahead of time. If something
I didn't have it.
You did have it. You
I had it, but I
48
didn't
hours ahead of. But that's
I
not our
printed.
fault. That's
And it's
part
not
of
my
your
fault they wrote it in the paper.
As a school committee member, it's your
Headline.
responsibility to come to meetings prepared.
All right, we really need to bring some sense of decorum back to this. I'm not sure whose hand up was next, Nancy, Bob, or Carl. I do not know.
I'll yield to both Nancy and Bob.
Nancy, how about that? And I'll call on Bob.
Okay, I think that for me, the anticipation many times of difficult interactions between members of between some members of the committee. I think that there were a lot of times where we got very sidetracked, going off topic, not staying within the guidelines of what the goals we met really well with the school committee in the district, but we did not stay with the norms and beliefs. And I think that a lot of the accusations that came out to the whole committee were very much often, I don't know, my experience, to be honest with you, Kim, my experience a lot of times, and this is me, and this may not be fair, but my experience was that a lot of the time, the combativeness was coming more between you and other members of the committee and of other topics. I think there were what appeared to be questions of how things were presented, such as the $2.5 million thing, that you're getting a surprise thing. It was picked up, whether it was intentional or not, it was picked up as a real screw up on our parts that was not true. And I think that it's things like that that I think are the issues. I think there are things that need to change in how the meetings are run, things that need to change. But I think that there were a lot of times where the overstepping of bounds, such as contacting DESE, if you look at the school committee handbook, which I think, if you don't have it in your hand, which would be surprised. All questions of that sort are supposed to go through the chair. They are not supposed to be through an individual. So it's things like that that are concerning for moving on from here. Okay, I don't know that they were done intentionally as stepping out of bounds, but they were. So I mean, that's just one of the things to.
So you're saying I stepped out of bounds after realizing, and at the time, I think we had brought it up to people, but we were ignored because we were the bad guys. We did. We brought it up to chair and stuff. Desi was the last step when we found out that it was months before anybody addressed our E&D.
So why, so in my mind, the step going to Desi, just talking about procedural stuff, the step going to Desi should have been, if I understand how this works correctly, should have been approved by the school committee as a whole. You probably would have gotten support.
No, that's not the way it works.
What do you mean that's not the way it works?
Because I can go to Desi as a private person. I can go to Desi as a parent. I can go to Desi in the state of Massachusetts and say, hey, there is something wrong. That is what the law says.
Do you think there was, and you don't think that there's an appearance to the rest of us on the committee that you were overstepping without our permission?
Don't you think it's an appearance that you were ignoring everything I said?
What is the, I'm sorry, I'm going brain dead here.
I asked for the same information for 8 months straight and was totally ignored by the chair.
Julie hasn't been the.
I wasn't finished. 8 months.
Chair for 8 months.
No, 8 months, meaning from Open Architects, under TMS, under Brian Rick. I have said the same thing over and over again. The characters changed, but what I asked for did not. And not one person.
What was the specific ask?
I wanted to know a roll forward from 2025 into 20, a roll forward into 20, from 25 to 2026, where we ended, where we started. And you can go back to, there's 15 different meetings that I have said that. I wanted to know what grants and offsets have been applied to the 2026 budget, because we had a memo that was flying around saying I had asked the chair.
No, the discussion is, okay, so
that is why I went to Desi.
You had the right to do it. That's all you have to say.
I had the right to do it.
Okay, that's what.
So I think where I want to interject here, whether the committee chooses to censure or not to censure, there certainly is a perception, Kim, as Nancy's used the word combativeness. You, rather than coming in a collaborative way, you're consistently at combat with all of us. And that makes life difficult. Because when you're stirring the pot with the negativity, when you're yelling at people, when you're in a negative way, you're losing credibility. You ask good questions. There is no one that will deny that you ask good questions. It's how you present. It is how you work with other people, how you disrespect other people. That is the problem. Whether we choose to censure or not, this has certainly aired the fact that this committee, many people here, have expressed concern. I've had people come to me as recent as last week. This isn't just back to when the turmoil of February and March was at a huge peak. Even last week, what are you going to do? How are you going to bring yourselves together? I said, I don't know. To me, this motion, this letter of possible censure is a last resort to let you know that the behavior that we've been experiencing is not healthy for this district. We have to figure out how to work better together. And whether or not whether we are challenging each and every one of these, there's just this pattern of behavior that has been exhibited. That is the issue for me. And like I said, there have been times where we have voted together, that we have agreed on certain things. But it's the behavior of late.
Julie, don't you think that if you actually answered my emails, because I got those too in here that you never answer, when I've reached out to you for information, questions, even a concern, I'll look into it. Nothing else. My behavior comes from frustration over your behavior. I want open communication. I want, if I ask for something, to receive it. If I get it, then I probably won't have to ask over and over and over again and then get frustrated about it.
Well, then maybe we need to start having coffee on a weekly basis so that we can change that. Only when that offer is made, we'll figure out and we'll actually do it. Because I have been in that chair of being frustrated with not getting it, and the follow-up wasn't through. I apologize. I'm sorry that you felt that way. Probably I didn't respond. I don't know why. I don't even know which emails or dates.
There's several.
There could be some. Either I didn't know I was looking in, something got my attention, I apologize. There could have been some when I had medical issues and I didn't respond to any emails for a couple of weeks at that time,
Did you even ask me about the phone before you accused me?
It came to our attention
but did you
when
ask?
A business office retiree was headed out the door and said, "Oh, by the way, did you know
but
the
did you ask?
superintendent had this phone?"
But did you ask?
No, I did not.
So this would have saved that one whole thing. And that's the problem. There's no communication, whether it's from my side or your side.
Then we need to agree on both sides. That we
I will tell you, my behavior will probably get a whole bunch better if I actually got answers and facts and documents and things that I actually have asked for. Not just...
That's only if they're available, Kim. Part of what we discussed this tonight, getting reconciliations, get all of that. I've put 2 and 2 together. You've asked questions. Hopefully the work that we're going to have done will help rectify that.
But the rollover...
I don't think that information was actually available.
Actually?
And I don't know for a fact.
The 25, if you've already done your audit, is completely available. And that is my point. The point is you had to have all that documentation through the year. You could have gotten me up to date in February.
No, we couldn't do that.
Why? We got one in
February. The audit just
not
came
the audit.
in within the last couple of
Not
weeks.
the
Stuff was
audit.
not done.
And
anyway, Kim,
year
we're getting
to
off
date.
track here. No matter where we are, no matter where we are, if we can have reasonable conversation, I don't call you because I don't want to get screamed at. Honestly, that's what I anticipate.
You scream at me.
Of your, well,
you do.
Not quite as bad as you, but okay.
Doesn't matter who's worse.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, let's all agree here, we all have to work better, a lot better, to make this work.
We have to work a lot
So
better.
stop pointing fingers.
No,
and
but
Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
Stop,
Hold it.
everybody,
Hold it.
stop!
Nancy.
That doesn't help either.
No, Nancy.
No, stop, please, stop. Nobody's
And-
thinking, everybody's repeating the same thing over and over again. And it's just at this point,
And
we
there we go.
have definitely a problem here. It's really clear, all right? There's just a lot of wheel spinning going on.
So is that
one of the
acceptable,
things
Julie?
that
Well,
I'm sorry, what was that?
so what I was going to suggest is, the matter at hand is the committee of an appetite to pursue any censure on any of these items? One or more or none, dismiss, end the conversation, and try to figure out where we're going with this. That's kind of the matter at hand.
Well, I yielded to Bob, but now Bob is yielding.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was just
I'll
gonna
save
say,
the
oh
best
my
for
God, yeah,
last.
we got off track
Okay.
terribly. I'm
Okay.
sorry, Bob.
Because I'm prepared to vote when we vote, but I know I won't be allowed to make a comment while I'm voting because the chair won't allow it. So I want to make a comment now. very few people here were alive to remember George Carlin, 1972.
I loved him.
Seven words you're not allowed to use on television. You're still not allowed to use them, by the way, on broadcast television. And that case went to the U.S. Supreme Court. But we are concerned tonight with demeanor and things like that. Yet a member of the staff of this school, in his official capacity, she mentioned it, so I'll mention it again, in front of one of Kim's daughters, called Kim a twat. Now, nothing has been done about that. Absolutely, unless it's going on behind closed doors. That happened 2 months ago. It reduced her daughter to almost apoplexy. That is both an extraordinarily rude reference to female genitalia, and it's sexist. And it should not be allowed to continue, and yet there has been no action on that, and I imagine that months will go by and there will be none, and it will be forgotten. Oh, just guys being guys. Well, horseshit. That's a word that's allowed, by the way. I think...
Carl, can I interrupt you for 1 second? There's
Yeah.
a separate personnel matter, and if Ms. Alcantara wants to file a complaint against the union president, I have discussed the issue with the superintendent. It can be addressed. It cannot be addressed in this forum because it is also a personnel matter. So if she wants to file a formal complaint, I'm aware of the complaint. I've spoken with the superintendent about it. At that point, it will be addressed in the appropriate form, but it should not be in this forum because the individual you're referring to has his own rights. And so does Ms. Alcantara and Ms. Alcantara's daughter.
But
so we're way off.
We are way off.
okay, I want to respond. Okay.
Yeah, okay, Carl, I do.
Well, what Mr. Coleman said is only half correct, or a third correct, or whatever, because anybody, any member of the community can make that complaint to Destiny. Doesn't have to be Kim, doesn't have to be your daughter, doesn't have to be your husband who is present. Anyone. I can do it, you can do it, anyone can do it.
Whoever wants to file the complaint, you're correct. I'm offering it to the complainant.
Julie.
Okay.
Right, someone
All
wants
right.
to file a complaint, we will evaluate it.
Thank you, so we should stay back on track as
So-
best we can.
Bob was gonna say.
Oh, yeah,
something.
Pop,
Let Kim go.
So, I think your behaviors, my behaviors, and other people's behaviors are probably all bad. I don't think it's just me, because I see it. There's reason there was a 4-5 split. Everything you have here, somebody else is also attached to, but yet you're not going after them. Just me. That speaks loudly right there.
may I comment on that just briefly? We sent this to you as a pattern of behavior. We did not witness the same pattern of behavior from Art. So I understand what you're saying about that one complaint. Yes, it was addressed to both. And that is why the letter is addressed to you. If it had been a single issue, it'd have been very different. But this letter is talking about a pattern, not any single one.
But most of the things that were in this letter, such as the phone, wasn't something I did. I just happened to be the person that sent the email. And you didn't find out facts first. And I can go on to
The
all
staff
that.
members told us.
So why didn't you
Okay.
ask?
Why didn't I ask?
Yeah, you're the chair.
Why didn't the school committee have a chance to approve it?
Because it was Josh was
I didn't
there.
read
It was
it.
part of her being a consultant. What are we supposed to say?
I didn't
You
know
give-
it was part of her being a consultant.
Yeah,
She had all of the information that she needed within those phone numbers, communication. She was working for us. She had her laptop, which had all her files. She had her school email address still. I mean,
We didn't know that we were paying a phone bill. We knew that we were paying her contracted, that we voted on her hourly wage. And no part of that was, and we're gonna pay X amount of dollars a month for an extra cell phone.
Yeah, it was
That's
not
something that the
it
school
was not
committee needs to be aware of. Whether it was you or R, it doesn't matter. It was the school committee leadership.
but again, that's not the complaint. The complaint says I gave her permission for
But
8
Kim,
months.
you don't even know. You're making accusations saying that we are just singling you out. You don't know what might come down the road for any other person here.
Well, it doesn't matter. I still didn't give her permission to have her phone.
You were part of the leadership of the school committee that made these conversations, allowed these things to happen. We didn't know about it.
So, if there's leadership, I am a person who sent an email. Where in that says, I give you permission, I said she has her phone. Because she is a consultant. Julie
resigned.
has been in contact with her. And at any point in time, in 4 months, could have gotten the phone back.
She
I
tried.
didn't
Multiple
even
people tried.
know about it.
Well, you knew
till,
about it in
like,
April,
That's when I found out.
you know?
Literally, that's how I found out.
So, and you were in communication and you did logistics with her, trying to swap the number
And
over
we
and
were
stuff.
trying- that's right.
But you said 8 months.
She had had it since she resigned.
But I
Since she left
didn't,
in
I,
August.
the other 4 was not, even if I had, which I didn't, gave her responsibility, the other 4 months are under you. So,
And 2 of those 4, I didn't even know that that was an issue.
Yeah.
I was, when I found out it was an issue, I tried to get the technology back. Anyway,
Bob,
Bob,
So our dysfunction is still
dysfunction.
very evident, and it's horrifying, and I'm sure anybody watching this is horrified as well. The dysfunction goes on. Kim, I'm sorry, but I would vote for a censure on you because you have been disruptive. You have been on the attack. You have been the major cause of a lot of dysfunction, and it didn't have to be. Art, on the other hand, stepped back a little. He didn't stay on the attack. You have shown the dysfunction to a level that is incredible. You, whether intentionally or not, have thrown this committee into disarray. It is not necessary. You could have been constructive and not destructive,
I
but
tried.
you were destructive. There was many times I was not on the board at that committee at that time. I sat in that audience, and there was twice at least I stepped to that podium and asked everybody to play nice in the sandbox. It didn't happen. You stayed on the attack. It was not necessary. It was not helpful. It did not move the process along. The only thing I want to see going forward is the process moving along, because this is not helpful. No matter if you're in the right, Julie's in the right, Nancy's in the right, don't matter. It's not helpful. If we cannot agree to come to some kind of meeting of the minds and move forward as a committee, not as a committer, person of the committee, then this is going to continue. We're not going to get anything done, and it's senseless. You're a smart person. As Julie said, you have asked some good questions.
But I haven't got answers.
Unfortunately, we don't always get the answers we want or in the timely frame that we'd like them.
we've never
As
gotten
far as the
We've never gotten
emails,
And that's the problem.
you two were the chair and the vice chair
We
right up
tried.
until
I know.
January. I don't blame Beth, even though she's part of this
Everybody
problem.
else does.
Well, not everybody does. I don't blame her, even though she contributed to this problem.
But this is not about that. This is about.
That's right.
let him finish, please.
That's right. It is not about Beth. What it is about is we didn't have a business administrator. The superintendent left. We had a vacuum. You two were chair and vice chair, and then there was a vote of no confidence, which obviously ruffled your feathers both, which it would have ruffled mine also. That being said, we need to put the past in the past. I don't want to be blaming Beth. I just want to see the numbers too. I want to see it cleaned up. That's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to sit on this committee and try to help that situation going forward. I know you, I'm friends with you. I know Art, I'm friends with Art. I like everybody here. I don't like seeing everybody attacking each other over nitpicking. Yes, I agree. There was an incident that never should have happened, and I wasn't too happy about it either. But I'm not going to sit here and judge you or anything over emails and hearsay. What I will judge you over is your performance during the budget process, knowing we were behind the 8 ball, being disruptive and attacking in a non-productive manner. If it was a productive manner, I would have been okay with it. We need to bury that. I know you didn't vote for Dr. Rika.
It has nothing to do with that.
Yes, it does.
No, the budget part has nothing to do with that.
Well, it has all the appearance of it. So my point is, going forward, I think everybody has been more than open and made their points here. I never asked you or Art to resign from the committee, and I had hoped that you would continue on the committee in a productive manner. So far, I haven't seen that.
We haven't been given the opportunity to be productive.
Well, let's say we go forward from here and we be constructive.
And you think
and
this
not
helps?
destructive. I don't think it helps, but I think it's clearing the air. And I'm hoping the air is now as clear as it can be. Like I said, you know me, and you contact me every once in a while, and I talk to you. But I cringed at some of your performance during the budget process, along with a lot of members in the audience, because it wasn't helpful. And from here in, I would love it if you could be helpful and constructive. And I know you all have issues that I don't have because I wasn't sitting on this committee at that time. But I hope to God we can move forward and we aren't presenting this kind of performance over and over, because it is doing our district harm.
I agree.
And that is not the purpose of the school committee.
No.
And I don't think anybody sitting at this table wants that. So if we can open our communications better and work together, I think we can move forward and actually hopefully put this district back together to the district it should be.
I totally agree, including not being shut out from everything and just having the chair and the vice chair meeting with the superintendent
I
without
heard the same
involving us.
complaints about you and Art.
I know, but those are what it came from, was the frustration of being shut out.
And excuse me, that did change after a
Yeah,
while. I mean,
okay, so-
independently. So it's a little bit different. Okay, Nancy, then Amy, and perhaps we'll come to some sort of conclusion.
I'll need help with the motion, but I move that we move to, I'm not sure I've made a decision to, on regarding the censure of South Ontario. To, so that one, we can move on, but to, so that, for that, I think it's, so yeah, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be the same 5.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna predict this vote 5-3.
So Nancy, I want to be clear, you were a little,
I think just get it, probably right, but.
Yeah, I know I am.
so,
Well, that's fine, but it's attitudes, it's, you know, I think that we're asking, that's all we're asking.
So, but my thing is to be treated like Nancy just screamed at a meeting, and she has done it several times.
I
But
was saying to everybody, not just to you.
it doesn't matter. Screaming in a meeting is not allowed. But yet I'm being.
it's not acceptable.
Is there a motion? I'm thinking Ms. Worthington is making a motion.
Yes, that's what I was trying to clarify, because she was being a little bit hard for me to hear. Did you make the motion to censure? Is that what I'm, as proposed?
Yes.
You've made that motion. Okay. And it's on the full letter. Is that what you're talking about? I just want to be clear.
For me, yes, the full letter, just because, but
As-
I think that Kim's made some very reasonable points around allegations for sure.
But it's, she just said full letter, even though I
Okay,
made,
okay, but that's why I'm clarifying. Motion would be to censure on the letter as presented to Kim.
she's talking about every point.
Do you wish?
No, I understand that, that's why I'm saying I'm at a bit of a loss, the best way to do it, Josh.
The options, well, let me ask, there's a few things. One, from a spirit of collaboration, to follow up on Bob's point, the other option available to the committee is to consider bringing in a mediator or someone to help facilitate other dialogue or communication.
Well, we started, yeah, I think right now we need to make some decisions so that the meeting can.
No, I understand, but I just want to put that out there based on when Miguel asked earlier this evening, what are the options available to the committee? I didn't mention that at the point, so I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention that as an option. Separate apart from that, there's a motion on the floor to censure. There's 6 grounds listed in the letter. The other, so that's one option. The other option is to censure Ms. Alcantara for general conduct not acting in accordance with the MASC Code of Conduct and the SBRSD norms and beliefs, which is a broader general motion, not specific to each allegation.
That can be presented with what she's been presented with, is that the right question?
Yeah, I mean, that's up to the committee. I'd see if there's a second to consider a censure on any.
Can I ask Josh a question?
Second.
Hold on one second, I'm waiting to, okay. I want to be clear, Nancy, you're making a motion with regard to all 6 points in the letter.
Well,
She
basically
said no.
right now, yes, that's what I'm doing, I don't know that that would pass this, so I think.
Second.
we can amend it.
Okay, well, all right, well, Nancy made a motion and Amy seconded it, so we do have it. So now there's discussion, yes.
Kim, is there a reason why you weren't with us today at the training or last week?
Well, as Julie knows, I was at a wake and a funeral procession, because
Well,
when she
that was
called me.
Friday, the training was Thursday. so-
No, I was at a wake,
Oh, at the wake, yes, sorry.
and, and today.
I didn't know you were at the wake, I knew you were in the
You
funeral.
schedule things. I am not a retiree. I work.
Yeah, and so do most of us here. When we made the schedule, we all sat with our schedules out and we had
I
a
did
long
not say
conversation.
anything to it. I could not attend anything prior to 5
Why
o'clock.
didn't you share that with us? Because we could have looked at different times to be able to include you. You're making a lot of conversation about not being included, but you didn't speak up. Every single person said, I can't this day, but I can this day. What about this time?
Because
What
you
about this
guys were
time?
conversing among yourselves.
No.
No,
It was
the
open
whole
session.
time.
And I-
However, However,
But this
this
has
is way
not, yeah,
off
it's off
track.
topic.
We are
And to be
off topic.
fair,
No, it's not off topic, and I'll bring it full circle. This entire thing is about your attitude and how you act when you're here. This is all about behavior. You did go through specifically and you addressed each and every one of them. And that's fine. It was your right to do so, and it's good to hear from you and your feedback. The issue here, though, like Julie mentioned early, is that it's a pattern. It's this, and then it's an excuse for not being able to come to a training. It's every time someone is saying, can we please start over? Can we do something new? And you have every single time a comment back, an excuse, something. It's just, this is what the whole entire community has seen. They come and they give public comment every time. We've got emails and feedback. We're stopped in the community and asked, what are we going to do about this? And it's always, you always have an answer for everything. This is just about the behavior. This is the behavior that Bob is talking about. This is the behavior that people are making comments about. That's what's in this letter. it's this attitude and this behavior that is not appropriate for a school committee member. You're not acting like you want to be part of this. We're asking you if you do want to, and if so, these are the things that have to change, because this is not how our norms and beliefs are written.
But you also aren't following the norms and beliefs. It's all
Case in point.
committee. No, it is all
You
committee.
twist it every
And that was my
single
question
time.
to Josh, was he had mentioned a mediator person to come in and work with us so that we all get along, which means everybody is heard. I think that's a great option.
So,
Well, we have a motion on the floor. Miguel?
regarding the motion on the floor, I would vote for a censure just for general disruptive behavior and going against the general norms of the committee. I think Member Alcantara has proven that a lot of these points may or may not deserve more scrutiny at the very least. So,
Would you like me to withdraw the motion?
yes, I think we can withdraw the motion and create a new one that does not go on every point of this letter, but is more of a general note on her disruptive behavior.
Category, can I just say I would withdraw the motion?
Okay. Yes, Amy, will you withdraw?
Sure.
Okay, so this motion is withdrawn.
So I would like to make a motion that we censure Member Alcantara for general disruptive behavior that did not aid in the committee moving forward during some very serious times. I do appreciate a lot of what she does bring to the table, her smarts and her business expertise. But I do believe, as was stated, that it wasn't just, it's not just the one letter. A lot of members of the community have felt the same way.
Yeah, so we need to,
Okay.
let's make
Just
that
make
motion
that
a little
motion.
more concise, please.
Do you want to
Yes.
make it general?
General,
So I basically would like to make a motion to censure Ms. Alcantara on general unethical behavior
you used the word disruptive.
and disruptive.
I
Is it
just-
disruptive or unethical? Because
Well, yeah.
I think
it's
more
disruptive. I think it's
Yeah.
just disruptive,
So
because I don't
would-
have any
all right,
ethical.
I want, because I want to simplify
Oh,
this.
so you
So I
want it on general disruptive?
general disruptive behavior that worked against the committee completing its work.
Okay, would someone like to second that motion?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, Bob is seconding for discussion. So we have a motion to censure Kim Alcantara for general disruptive behavior that has worked against committee
Efficiency.
efficiency, I don't know, or progress or something.
Progress.
Okay. Discussion on that revised motion. Bob?
It does me no pleasure to bring this forward and vote for or second for a censure. I don't think that was your objective, but I do believe it is warranted. And unfortunately, playing the victim is not sitting well with me tonight very well.
I'm not playing the victim.
You have played the victim
I want to be
all
heard.
night. And yes, and you are always heard. You know that.
But
And that's okay.
But you don't see what we see in the background when I reach out and try to communicate. And
I
get
can
ignored.
understand boards and committees are very frustrating at times. Open meeting
And I have
laws
never
makes it
had this
even
issue prior
harder.
to this year.
This year has been an unusual year.
Correct.
We came off of negotiations. We had the superintendent leave, who was also doubling as a business administrator. We have had layer upon layer of issues that accumulated into this kind of dysfunction. Can we bring it back down is the question, and
I was
move
for the
forward.
mediator.
And that is my hope. And I hope this censure does not I can't even pronounce the word tonight, but hopefully it doesn't make the problem worse.
Well, we do have a motion and we can consider other things also. Carl?
Well, two things. One, I don't think a censure of Kim is going to advance any good purpose for the school committee. I don't think it's going to change anybody's behavior, whether we like that behavior or not. I happen to think Kim is a valuable asset to the school committee. Is she passionate? That's what I would say, passionate about what she thinks, and I don't think that's a bad thing. She's being faulted for, among other things, making a mistake of fact. God, if I got punished every time I made a mistake of fact, I'd have to be sitting in a corner somewhere. But you know, the bottom line is 500 years after the fact, we are now back with King Henry VII's Star Chamber. That's what we're doing tonight. And everybody who says, I regret having to do this, you don't regret it enough. And that's a problem. That's a problem in general for governance. It's a problem in terms of critical thinking, which I think is sorely missing at many times. And that's all I have to say about it. I think it's a big mistake, but you're going to do what you're going to do.
That's your opinion, and opinions vary.
And opinion what?
Opinions vary.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm not expecting anyone to have this.
I would say, let's call the vote.
Are there any other comments for that? All right, so.
Was that a motion by Bob?
That was a motion to call the question.
Oh, you're calling the
yes.
question, okay. Are we calling, is somebody seconding that?
Second.
Okay, motion to call the question was made by Bob and seconded by Miguel, Amy and Nancy and Manny. And all in favor of calling the question? Go to you first, Nancy, as tonight.
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Julie, Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Sure.
Art?
Yep.
Julie, yes. All right, so the motion we're voting on is that we will censure Kim Alcantara for general disruptive behavior that has worked against committee progress. So, we will now take that vote. Nancy?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl?
A very emphatic no.
Kim?
No.
No.
Art? No. Julie? Yes. So it is a 5-3 vote, and it is a sad day that we have taken these extraordinary measures, but
Heavy heart.
it's the dissatisfaction with how we've been functioning. We could discuss whether or not we, in light of this, would like to consider mediation or not, or whatever we want to do with that as a follow-up step. I mean, that was something, even though we took this vote, it doesn't mean that we can't try to find a way to work better together, because apparently we really do need to do that, and we do.
On what you mentioned, mediation, where's that provided for?
It's not, it's in our budget, Carl. We would be digging deep to figure that out.
Actually, MASC, I believe, provides things.
I could inquire. I don't know if they, if it would be a part of a membership. Can they offer some members?
We have a membership with
I know we do, but I don't know if mediation is a part of that membership or if it's an additional fee. We can certainly try to figure out a way to do that and schedule times that would work for all.
Personally, I think we could just be adults and move forward.
I don't think that happens, unfortunately, because we all view things
Just a
differently,
minute, Nancy.
as we see here.
Okay.
And I think that everybody has faults and they all need to be addressed. Everybody has them, not just me, everybody.
We're all
And-
human.
Yep, and I think they all need to be addressed so we can move forward, not just 3 or 4 people singled out every time.
Nancy?
Not you, Bob, because you weren't here, but everybody else.
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
Nancy, go ahead.
We started I think to Kim's point, we did start the process last week and last night. last days. So I think that, yes, I mean, I think everybody's looking at their own, at their own pictures as well. That was there's no question on that. So.
Okay, so there was no comment. Any other thoughts on the use of mediation? Yes or no?
I think maybe we should table it until our next meeting. This has been pretty heavy and a lot to digest, and I think we all have a lot to think about. So I think perhaps we table mediation until the next meeting.
We can certainly do that. I can ask MASC about membership support, how they offer in that way, just to have that information, which I do not have.
So should I make a motion?
Motion to table? No, I don't think you need to do that, but,
Josh, what else did you say before? Mediation and what else?
Yeah, I mean, you could bring it, I believe MASC does provide mediation services, otherwise we could probably help you identify an outside facilitator that works with boards or communities or on these kinds of communication challenges. So, yeah, that was the only option that I'm aware of.
Okay.
okay, we can look at that then. Well, it has been a long and difficult night, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, made by Bob, seconded by Art. Nancy?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Miguel?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Carl? Kim? Yes. Art?
Yep.
Julie? Yes, we are adjourned.